Well, and good morning. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio as we get ready for Ravens-Chargers tonight out in L.A. to cap Week 12. A game that suddenly became really important for the Ravens after their loss to the Steelers last week. Not wanting to fall in 7-5, trying to stay ahead of the other AFC North or AFC wildcard contenders. So, it's a big game. It's a big game. There's no getting around that. It is important, to say the least. We'll talk about it a little bit more as the show goes on, recap the week that was in the NFL and in picks. Not good for your boy. It's just, that's what it is. Thankfully, Paul Valley also is very bad at this, so I'm not done yet in the competition. Maryland got a big win yesterday. We'll talk about that. Maryland basketball, that is. Maryland football did not. All of that we will cover. Oh, and Griffin's got a concert review to give you as he had an electric weekend.
Yeah, doing lots of these.
Yeah, woo! Rock and roll. Didn't see as much coverage of the event as I would have liked.
Oh, you wanted more?
Wanted more coverage of it.
I was having such a good time.
We'll talk about that later on in the program. So all that's coming up. But yeah, so tonight, Ravens-Chargers, you guys might not know this. The coaches are brothers.
What?
Yep.
Has that ever happened?
I feel like they should mention that at some point. I did watch the ESPN did a SportsCenter kind of feature, like I don't know what you want to call it. It was like a short film about the Harbaughs. It was actually very good. Adam Schefter was involved with it. It was actually a really good view. If you spent, it was like 25 minutes with it this weekend. It was well worth the watch. So it got me to thinking about, like, who has experience with both Harbaugh brothers that can tell us, like, are they as alike as we think they are? Are they different? And I was reminded that our guest right now, one of my favorites from his time in Baltimore, he was always a pleasure to chat with and hang out with. What a great dude he is. He, after spending time in Baltimore, I feel terrible about this. I always think about him as like, oh, yeah, he was part of the Super Bowl team, and he probably doesn't like that because he was on the other side of Super Bowl 47. 47. But he is truly a great dude. Former Ravens linebacker and former 49ers linebacker Tavares Gooden. T-Good is with us this morning here on GCR. Tavares, what's going on, man? It's Glenn. It's been way too long. Thanks for taking the time for me.
Hey, man, no worries. How you doing today,
good.
Glenn? All is well on this end.
Hey, man, always great to hear your voice, dude. Tavares, if I could for a second, right? When you ended up in San Francisco, had you, like, met Jim before at anything related to the Ravens? Like, had you had any interaction with him up until that point?
We seen him around a couple times, but he was always kind of in and out, so I never really got a chance to really talk with him. But saw him around a few times, obviously, because his brother was there,
sure.
and I thought he had a great personality as well. Every time that I did see him,
so,
he was always the guy who brought attention, or I wouldn't say that he forced attention on himself, but he drew the attention just because who he was.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's get into that, right? Because a lot of people bring up like the Harbaugh brothers, and I do think they're very similar. And I've interacted with both of them, obviously, many times over the years. But that's the aspect where they seem the most different, right? Like Jim always seems a little more like in your face about that type of stuff than John does. Are they as similar as people think they are, and how are they different from your time with them?
I believe they're similar in their winning strategies. They both want to win, and that could be because they're brothers, and I'm sure they used to fight each other all the time, and they both wanted to beat each other. So that competitive nature definitely started from Jack. Both of those guys, they love to compete. Now, the way that they do compete and the way that they put it out to their players is obviously different because one guy played, another guy didn't. Jim used to always say John was upset because he had like 4 more inches on him in height. And the story about he would always eat an apple a day. His dad told him to eat an apple a day, keep the doctor away. So Jim believes that's why he grew another 4 to 6 inches taller than John, because he ate his apples that Jack gave him every day. So that's what I would say is they're very, very similar in the way that they want to win, the way that they prepare the teams. They take a lot of each other's strategies as far as, I know we started Who's Got It Better Than Us in San Francisco, and I heard the Ravens saying it. Vice versa, I heard some things that were said, in Baltimore that were said in San Francisco. So, I like the music. I had told him one time we played music all the time in the Ravens practice. He said, "Oh, we play music over there?" He's like, "All right, we got to start playing music over here in San Francisco."
Wow.
So they're similar with that aspect, but just their deliveries are going to be a little bit different. I feel like Jim is he's a player's coach, so he's on you. He's playing with you before the games. He's psyching you up versus John. He's letting the system play like a Raven. He's doing a lot of other things to get you mentally prepared. He's not necessarily in the locker rooms trying to rah-rah guys up or boost guys up. He's more or less, I'm going to let my coaching staff, I'm going to let this winning condition boost you up. Obviously, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, guys like that boost you up.
Tavares Gooden is with us here on GCR. We're getting ready for Ravens-Chargers tonight. He, of course, played for both Jim and John Harbaugh. It's funny you bring that up, T, because, I think a lot of people look at what's going on in in Los Angeles this year, and we see that. We see that sort of college mentality and the way that's working. Why does that, what Jim is doing and what he's always done, why does that play so well with his players? Why do guys like that sort of college-like way that he runs his programs?
He takes the edge off, really. If you're a player, you got a lot of pressure. You got a lot of pressure to deal with daily, from the newspaper articles. Now they got social media to deal with. You got so much players from playing. You got so much pressure from playing on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, obviously. So what he does is he comes in there and he takes the pressure off. To see a coach jumping around, to see a coach patting you on the back, getting in there like he's going to play, he really makes the setting a lot looser. So when you have that as a player, you're going in there and you're saying, well, hey, man, if my coach is like this right now, and it's not to say that he's not serious, because he's a serious guy as well. He gets out there and throws passes. I know he did when we were out there, Alex Smith and Kaepernick. He would get out there and throw passes. So he's serious as can be, but the point is he's not afraid to go out there and fail himself. So when you see a guy like that still throwing passes, still jumping around, chest button, high-fiving, it really gets a guy going because obviously we all came from college. We've all had all these type of pressures, and he's not an orthodox type of head coach. He's more of one of those coaches where, you had strength coaches in college, who would, and our strength coach was kind of mean. I shouldn't say that, Andrew Swayze, but I know there was a lot of other strength coaches he was like, and that's what I think Jim brings to the table, is that he brings a brotherhood. He brings leadership and he brings wisdom from playing. So guys are going to trust him as well. The guy's had a long time playing career, not just coaching. So that's what I think he brings. He brings a locker room mentality. He brings a leadership mentality from a playing level. He hasn't lost that. And that's what Jim does really well, is that he was a quarterback, which obviously quarterbacks and linebackers are leaders of the team. Yeah. Great leader. He still brings that. He still brings that quarterback mentality. He still brings that locker room mentality. And that's why players, I feel like, and that's why I enjoy playing for Jim. Definitely miss playing for Jim and John. Those are great times in my life. 2 AFC championships, 2 NFC championships, and a Super Bowl. So those were great times. Never missed a playoff with those guys ever.
Tavares Gooden with us here on GCR. Tavares, if I could, can you take me back to the build-up to Super Bowl 47? Was it a big deal? Everybody obviously around the country and the world was talking about John and Jim being brothers, but inside the locker room or inside your guys' program, I talk about it this week. I don't get the sense that it matters to any of the players that are involved with this game tonight. The rest of the country, obviously, it's an obsession. But did that aspect of it matter at all to you guys in the build-up to Super Bowl 47?
I think it started with a few guys. Obviously, I was over there.
Yeah. For you, it was a little bit different. I get that.
Yeah, I was over there, and the way things happened with me in Baltimore, I wanted to go back and make an impact. But it started the year before is what I was trying to get at. And the year before that, we played on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So that was the first Power Bowl. we went to Baltimore. I remember pointing at my jersey, talking trash to guys in the stands, even though I love Baltimore. It was more or less like, I'm going to do you guys how I used to do you guys in practice, which I had a great game, and I did a couple people like I did them in practice. Well, I did a lot of people. I did everybody like that. So it was a great game. We ended up losing. So I took that back home. I was like, well, what good is beating up on your old team by yourself and we don't get the win? So we had an opportunity to play them again the next season, and they weren't scheduled for a season game, but it was for obviously the Super Bowl. So I would say this, there definitely was a build-up for me because of where I was in my career, but some of these guys didn't have that. I don't know if they have the same type of players. I don't know if they have the same type of situation that made it also, Vic Fangio was with us as well. So you had a lot of moving pieces from Baltimore at that time where we wanted to win it for certain guys. We wanted to win this, and we wanted to go out there and we wanted to prove that we were still elite, which I think we did. We competed our butts off, and we kept the tradition going. So now I don't think that it's as how it was, because, like I said, that Baltimore Cisco train stopped rolling. Because even before then, I know Coach Harbaugh wasn't there, but I believe Troy Smith was sent over there.
That's true.
When when the coach was over there. So when Mike Singletary was over there. So when Singh was there. So there was a lot of Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco pipeline going on there. So I think after my situation, it may have ended because, like I said, the want to win, the want to beat those guys, the want to play against somebody who you coached with or was drafted to, I don't think it's there with the Chargers, just because both of the guys have been out. Well, I should say Jim has been out for a while, and I don't know if there's any current Ravens that are playing with the Chargers right now.
It's the Chargers have like 30 former Ravens on their roster tomorrow. Like J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Bradley Bozeman, Hayden Hurst. Like, it is loaded. Greg Roman is their offensive coordinator. Like, they clearly were going for. So I'll pose. Oh well,
yeah, Roman. He goes there. You're absolutely right. So what I see happening is a different type of It's going to be a competitiveness to say, hey, you guys, that's always the case. So I think in between the locker room, there's going to be certain cases where there is a rivalry. But like you said, for everybody on the team, they might not get into it as much. But I will say this: I know that John I don't know what John was doing, but Jim always made it a point to let us know that he was the big brother. You know, he was the big little brother. So he always wanted to win that game. I mean, he didn't go in and put pressure on us, but we knew, man, it would have meant a lot for him at Thanksgiving for him to call his brother and be able to say, yeah, remember that butt kicking we gave you yesterday? You know, so we knew that. So we always wanted to fight and get that W for him.
I love that. All right, I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but for people that don't know, you are also an impressionist. Is there any chance that, like, you would be willing to give us a taste of, if Ray Lewis was playing in tonight's game, what his pregame speech might sound like?
Hey, man. God. We got one chance. One chance. Two Harbaugh brothers. We on the spot right now. It's history in the making right now. What would you guys do for me right now, huh? Would you give it all up for me right now, huh? It's for everything. You got to put everything you had in the past. If anybody touch the ball, it has to be hell to pay. That's my guy, Ray.
I know, dude. I know how much he impacted you. I love that so much. It will always be my favorite thing. Tavares, what do you got going on these days, man? Is there anything we can plug for you?
You know, I coach. I'm doing a little coaching. I'm back in Florida. I'm out in Las Vegas, and also, obviously my family's in Florida, so I do things back and forth from Vegas to Florida. But yeah, man, I just coach football, and if I'm trying to build the youth program. Obviously, my son's 12. He's a baller.
Awesome,
he's doing his thing. He plays safety and receiver.
Oh, that's dope.
I'm like, as fast as I was like, I should have been on the offensive end. So we're not making the same mistake twice. He's going to play some offense now.
Go make that money. Go make that money.
Exactly. and I'm gonna teach him how to flip his hips so he stays out of the box. I'm like, dude, I definitely would have been heck of probably still able to play safety. I'm in great shape now, man. I'm still fast. I still keep up with myself. Yeah, me and Brendan has always been a big brother to me. I'm Badesio, and we're still in our health phases, and we're kicking butt, man. I had high cholesterol and a couple other high levels, so I want to encourage all athletes to take better care of their bodies, eat a little bit better. I know sometimes we eat all the junk stuff to gain the size on us, but man, eat healthy. That can put size on you just as well. So I'm just giving back to the youth right now, and just watching football as I can. And I also talk to high schools from here and there, and just give them a little bit of motivation, and also push them in ways that probably their parents couldn't.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy that you're doing great, and can't wait to see. Hopefully one day, like we had this workout. Keaton Mitchell's here, Anthony Mitchell's son, right? Like maybe we could have a second-generation Raven someday down the road, and your boy could be here. That would be an amazing story. Tavares, love you, man.
And hopefully Coach Harbaugh's still there. I gotta send that guy a text. One time I sent him a text. He acted like he didn't know who it was, so I kind of got on him a little bit. So I'll send him another text. Jim always answers my text. By the way. Jim will write me back.
Man.
Dad, I don't know, man. John got. I don't know if he's mad at me about 2010 or 11, that whole switch move. But, hey, if you're listening, Coach John, man, I love you, man. Thank you for the opportunity in drafting me. Thank you, Ozzie Newsome. Thank you, Rex Ryan. Thank you, Mike Pettin. Patini, we used to call him. I just want to thank those guys, man, for the opportunity, because I did come in with hip issues, and they drafted me 71st pick overall. Joe Flacco, Ray Rice, and then me. I was actually the first defensive player taken by Harbaugh. I'm actually I'm thankful for the opportunity, all jokes aside, and also for his brother Jim to come in when a lot of people said that I was on my way out because of injuries, to give me another chance to play. Jim, thank both of the Harbaugh brothers, and Jack, thank you also for obviously producing those strong-minded, strong-willed, winning, successful kids. So obviously they're adults now, but thanks for being. Yeah, that's my tribute to the Harbaugh family. I guess I'm just a hardballer. That's what they would call me.
Dude, thank you for doing this, man. Let's talk again real soon. Happy Thanksgiving, bro.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys, Glenn. God bless, man.
Thank you, buddy. Tavares Gooden, great. Really, truly one of my favorites. There are stories that I cannot tell about Tavares Gooden. Who's one of my favorite people to interact with. One of my, every day that I was in the Ravens locker room, there was a stop made over to chat with Tavares. It was like part of the Mark Clayton was one of those guys who you hear on with us all the time. There were certain guys that when I was on the beat and I was in there every day involved a conversation with. And one of those guys was Tavares Gooden, who's just a truly great dude, and would leave us in that Ray Lewis impression, spot on, man. All right, what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel, my friends?
You are getting $7 in free slot play. Hopefully, you were hanging out in the fourth quarter of yesterday's Washington game, and you got a few extra $7 in free slot play, because every touchdown that is scored during home games, during Washington football games or Baltimore home football games, that is this season, Live Rewards members are getting $7 in free slot play. You have to have your Live Rewards card inserted correctly into the slot machine and be actively playing in order to get your prize. And once those touchdowns score, you get your $7 in free slot play. Adirondack Mills must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. Thank you again to Tavares Gooden for taking the time for us this morning and telling us about the Harbaugh brothers. We are going to continue to roll along. While I was watching a lot of football yesterday, but I decided to watch the Maryland Villanova game. I was out with our friends at Show Your Soft Side. They were doing pet pictures with Santa Claus yesterday. That was wonderful. and then I kind of had the two-screen thing going on, and it was hairy, obviously, for Maryland against Villanova up in Newark. Sheesh. First half did not go well at all. Not even a little bit. Yuck. Eric Dixon from Villanova just going off. Eric Dixon was going off so much for Villanova that I started trying to convince myself, is there something that I don't know about here? Is there a connection? Eric Dixon was going off in the way that players who are from Baltimore that got overlooked and Maryland didn't want them. It made me think is he Juan's long lost cousin or something, and so he's pissed off that Maryland didn't recruit him? Because that's normally the type of performance that you get from someone who's mad at Maryland and hates them for that type of reason. But boy, the second half flipped on a dime. Maryland comes back and beats Villanova, who we acknowledge is not, a Jay Wright national championship contending Villanova team, but obviously still a much-needed and good win for Maryland yesterday. Let's talk a little bit more about it with our friend, Maryland Basketball Radio Analyst. He is Coach Chris Knoche, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Chris, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Oh, yeah, you too, Glenn. It's been a while.
Yeah, been too long. Well, things didn't go so great last season, and I don't like to dwell on the negatives. So
I get it. I get it. At least you could change. You could change the channel, though.
Yeah, that's true. You're stuck with it. I get it. No matter what's going on, you're stuck with it. Yesterday ended up being a lot of fun, obviously. And look, again, we acknowledge this is not, a prime Jay Wright Villanova national championship team, but still, that felt like something that, for the trajectory of what Maryland wants to do this year, they needed to get that type of win to sort of say, hey, we can do this. This is who we are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know at the end of the year how good Villanova is going to be or where they're going to be. But the way, to your point, the way they won it, they were absolutely lethargic and dead in the water in the first half. Just not very good at all. And then to come back and have that kind of a stirring comeback with so many different guys making plays. Honestly, Derek Queen was just a man, but there were a lot of guys who made big plays in that second half. And Queen, obviously the ringleader. So, yeah, the way it all unfolded, the way it happened, and to get the win just seemed really, really critical as this team sort of tries to find itself,
Yep, 100%. A couple things that stood out to me, Chris, one being it really felt like that was a Kevin Willard special too, right? That at the locker room there were adjustments made and different sets and trying to work inside more. It just felt like that was kind of definitive proof about the difference the coaching can make.
Yeah, and I didn't catch Willard. Willard was on with me after the game, but I didn't catch him in the press room. But I'm sure he went in there and just completely challenged those guys.
Yeah.
They were playing soft, weren't really working at it. It was just really a disappointing effort. And keep in mind too, Glenn, that's where Kevin Willard made his bones, that court, that arena.
Yep.
And so he goes up there, he knows every usher, every attendant, and so he doesn't want to go up there and get embarrassed. And so, I think it was, to a degree, it was a bit personal for him. And it was just, it was an impressive performance. The adjustments are one thing. I'm sure he made a couple, primarily stop settling for 3-pointers, but I think more than that, it was, you gotta show some fur. You gotta come out and play harder and play just with a lot more focus than you did in that first half.
And you reference, obviously, what a massive second half it was for Derek Queen. I think what stood out to me, and I'm not trying to be disparaging towards Diamond Stone, it's just I need a reference for this. But when you sign a big man as the heralded prospect, I think there's always a little bit of a concern, but it's a guard's game, right? Is your best player being a big, is that going to be the best way to go about trying to win? And I think what we saw yesterday is proof of, no, this isn't just a big that we're talking about. We had seen a little bit of it, obviously, in the first few games. But, that fall-away jumper was as pretty a shot as I have seen almost any Maryland player take. And I think seeing the completeness of his game is extraordinarily encouraging for what this team can do moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, he also dunked on a guy in traffic. He did pretty much everything he could do aside from nailing a three-pointer. And he, although he did attempt one in the first half. I just, and I get the comparison to Diamond. It's kind of the easiest one to do, I think. But an observation I'll give you, just watching the kid, and I'm not in practice every day. I went to a bunch of practices in the fall, and I watched the team interact, and obviously I'll see more of them on the road. He looks like a great teammate to me. And I will leave it at that. If you want to draw a distinction, a comparison, he looks like a really top-notch guy and teammate. I'll leave it at that.
You're saying that perhaps there have been other guys, anybody that might not have been the same caliber of teammate. We're not naming names. Just saying. Perhaps.
Well, if you want to infer that, I mean, you're the host of the show. So.
I appreciate that. Chris Knoche with us here on GCR. It's funny, Chris, because I think about like the missed free throws late in the second half, and I was like, geez, man, they almost lost this game. It turns out they were 14 of 19 from the free throw line, right? Like it just so happened to be that some of them were late in the game and had the opportunity to be significant. Obviously, they've been shooting better. Last year, being a disaster from outside. But are these the types of things that you see, and even the stuff that maybe is still concerning, you look and say, hey, it's still a relatively young and or new team coming together. There's genuinely reasons to believe that this can continue growing from here and that this is a team that has the right trajectory towards being good. Yeah,
and it's funny, I don't know that they're young, but they are new.
Yeah.
Right. And they're new to each other, right? And I think that one of the things they proved, even if it's just to themselves, they scored 48 or I think it's 48 points in the second half, and they did it by abandoning the three for the most part. Gillespie made a huge three.
Yep.
Rodney Rice made a three, and I think Malachi made a three. But you'd be hard-pressed to remember, the real directional threes. All the directional plays were the ones where the guys were going to the basket. And you mentioned you getting rewarded at the free throw line. They only shot 4 free throws in the first half. I do know that. So, my public school math, I shot 15 free throws in the second half. That's an indicator of a lot more aggressiveness than the first half for sure.
Coach, we saw, Rodney Rice move into the starting lineup, and I think more than that, we saw like the significance of the minutes are all being played by the starters. If there's one thing that perhaps is a reasonable concern, do they have the depth that's necessary for Big Ten season? How important is it that like, say, DHS in particular get going for them to be able to have and find someone else that can contribute some minutes moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I thought they got some good minutes out of Young, Jay Young off the bench. I thought they got some really good minutes out of DHS, since you mentioned him. And I think that, we've all got to come to terms with who he is and what he does. He is not the, 4-star, 25th ranked player in the country that, he was hyped up to be. But he can be an incredibly effective, kind of a blood and guts guy. I thought he made some really great intangible plays during the course of the game. Rebounds, loose balls, he was critical for those things, and you never have enough guys like that. And I think he did. I think he's sort of embracing that backup point guard role where he can find the minutes. And so, yeah, I it'd be great if they got better minutes out of Gapare, but he didn't play well. He came in and got lit up like a lot of them did by Eric Dixon. And this is a meritocracy. You get what you earn, and he didn't deserve it. So I don't think he played in the second half. What sure would be nice if he gave them some minutes moving forward. He's a long, kind of a stretchy 4-man, and but I don't know. He hasn't played well the last couple of weeks, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, the minutes and developing that bench is critical. You got to figure that out somehow, some way.
And you mentioned obviously Dixon, who of course goes off. I don't know what to read into that, right? Because this, I think, is a good defensive team. And obviously it's been sort of the standard of Kevin Willard is that, like, his teams buy in defensively. I don't think that feels like that's an anomaly and not something where all of a sudden you say, oh, boy, now, teams are just going to pick their best player and go. I don't want to say I'm utterly dismissive of a guy going off 38 points, but I don't feel like that's something that, like, I'm now suddenly worried that, like, that's going to be a story in every game.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's averaging 24 a game coming into that game. He's been in college forever and a day. He's been around the block. He has really developed his outside shot. I watched him in shoot-arounds, and he's a robot. I mean, he's just burying three after three after three. And so he's shooting 6 threes a game, coming into the game, 57% from three. So if he's got a big guy on him, he's taking him out and, stretching him out spacing him out on the perimeter. And Maryland tried to put guards on him, and he just back him down. So then you have to decide, in which situation are you going to double him? Are you going to run guys at him when he's backing you down? Are you going to run guys at him on the perimeter? I thought Maryland was a little late in doing that, but I think, it was fortunate he got the last shot was really contested. There were 2 Maryland players that draped all over him, and he didn't have the quality look that he got early in the game. He just seemed to be open at every turn.
Yeah, it felt very much like one thing that's not going to happen here is that this guy is going to end up winning the game. Whatever occurs.
Right.
Like, and that I would assume from a coaching standpoint, that's the play, right? Like, let someone else beat you with the game on the line.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And nobody else on that squad was lighting it up.
Right.
There was nobody thinking, man, we really got to cover that guy out on the perimeter. They're not built that way. And they're having some issues themselves, Villanova. So better them than us at this point.
No question about it. Maryland gets a Bucknell and Alcorn State this week before they dip into Big Ten play. And there's still a game against Syracuse coming before the full regular season, the Big Ten. Chris, if I presented it to you this way, the things that you still want to see this team do better or more consistently in general before the bulk of Big Ten play begins?
Well, I mean, I think that it's being this November, I think every team, including Maryland, is in search of, consistency of effort. To play 20 or 25 minutes. I honestly think, Glenn, that the games from the 4th against Ohio State through the Purdue game up to Syracuse, so that's 17 days, those are directional games for your season.
Yeah.
And it's not that you have to sweep them, but you have to be better than they've been. And, you got to take care of business at home, obviously. Those home games are at a premium. So consistency of effort is one. I do believe they're a good shooting team, and I think they make a bunch when the game is in the balance. I would like to see that number come up. And then you referenced, the bench play. Got to get better from more. And you've got some I really think by the end of the year, one of the guys I think is going to be a big part of this team is Malachi Palmer off that bench.
Okay.
6'6", 215 guard. Plays, strong as could be, plays like a linebacker. He makes shots. You saw he hit a big shot yesterday from the corner. He's completely unafraid of the moment. And I think he's one of those guys that's going to get more and more run. There was a lot of 4-guard look out there last night or yesterday afternoon by the Terps. And I think you'll continue to see that.
Chris Knoche, can we plug the podcast?
Yes, sir. DC Coaches Basketball Podcast. That's with my friend Gary Williams, the misfit that is Jimmy Patsos, my friends Eddie Tapscott, Gordon Austin. We record once a week, usually on Wednesdays, and it drops on Thursdays, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Hey, Chris, I promise if there's more wins like this, there will be more phone calls from us coming your way. I always... it's
all good, man.
It's not. I hope it's not personal. I just really am the type that does not love dwelling on the negative. Like when things are going poorly, it's just.
Yeah, neither do I. We're even.
Yeah,
it's all good.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for doing this morning. Happy Thanksgiving, bud. Let's talk soon. All right.
All right, back at you. Thanks, Glenn. Bye.
Chris Knoche with us here on GCR after Maryland gets a nice 76-75 win over Villanova, and that that turnaround, that fadeaway from Derek Queen, that is some chef's kiss type of stuff. I think the game was tied right at that point when he hit the shot.
Yeah, because they started going back and forth over the final.
Yeah, and then it felt
5 minutes.
It felt somewhere around like the 8-minute mark, like there was a real chance for Maryland to seize control of the game. Like after they had erased the deficit, they had gone ahead. It felt for a minute like, all right, this is what I thought it was going to be. Because to be fair, I did not expect Maryland to be in that much of a tussle with Villonova. Now it's a reminder, this is still a Maryland team that's got a lot to figure out. And I do think it matters that they went through one of these where you had to win it in the final moments. Like you had to convert in the final minute. Call a timeout, set something up, get out of it what you want to get out of it. I think those things are important. I would have liked for them to have seized more control of the game, but to be fair, Eric Dixon was kind of on another planet yesterday. And they withstood that, and they won. And in the end, and I'll let Patrick share his thought, I think the most important thing is that I don't think it matters as much like to say, well, isn't this a Villanova team that Maryland should be blowing out? I don't know that matters at the moment. I don't know that there's any metric in which, winning the game by 10 points will prove to be more significant. I think the only thing that mattered was figure out a way that your column has more in it than their column does, and that's what they got.
And if they're going to be on the bubble, Rutgers losing yesterday helped them out too as well.
Yes, I don't know. Who did they lose to? Kennesaw State. But why did they play that game at Kennesaw State?
I don't know. I saw. So what are the freshmen's names again that they had?
Harper and
is it Ace? No, Bailey. No,
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. I think one of them is from like Atlanta or something. And
wait, is it Bailey or is Bailey's the guy? Bailey's the guy at Penn State, or is he? Who the hell is it?
I thought one of them was.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
From Georgia.
Oh,
and
that's the reason why they
go
played the game.
home.
Okay.
And obviously, kind of.
Baldwin is the guy at Penn State. Ace Baldwin's Penn State. Ace Bailey's Rutgers. God, man. Jesus.
Yeah, Ace Bailey.
And Ace Valentine, I think, is at UMBC.
Correct.
Lots of aces. Everything coming up aces in college basketball this year. All right, so that.
Yeah, Rutgers wanted a homecoming for Ace Bailey. And he actually committed the game-losing turnover, apparently, as well.
Now, I don't think that there's going to be a way that that's relevant to Maryland, but, yeah, they didn't lose to Kennesaw State. They got that going for them. They beat Villanova, a much better result than losing to Kennesaw State. Fact. A better result than losing to Villanova, which, again, could have happened, but they executed. They executed down the stretch. They got the job done, and they won the game. All right. Today's show also brought to you, well, it's not brought to you, but a reminder from our friends at the Ed Block Courage Awards that there is a big event coming up. December 9th, the Holiday Party at the Evolved Hospitality Catering Hall in Falston with special guest host Zay Flowers. The event includes a live podcast show, audience Q&A, meet and greet, and photo op with the Raven Star wide receiver. You can enjoy a tailgate buffet from 3-time Best of Baltimore chef Zach Trabold and of the renowned The Local Restaurants. You donate a toy to support the children at St. Vincent's Villa, and you'll receive an autographed picture from Zay. Tickets are $100 each for this extraordinary event. It's all of it. It's the food. It's the show. It's the meet and greet. It covers everything. One price for all of it. And they're available now by going to bidpal.net/holiday24. That's bidpal.net/holiday24. We come back in. We will go over the week that was in picks. Not that I have any interest in it, but I am a dope. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. We'll do that when we come back in, and we got to get Griffin's concert review as well. That's on the way. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
PressBox's Project Game Day is the place to be after every game this season. Join Glenn Clark, Rita Hubbard, Super Bowl 35 champion Femi Ayanbadejo, and our cast of regulars as they break down what happened, why it mattered, and what it means moving forward. You can watch the show at PressBoxOnline.com/gameday or PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Project Game Day is brought to you by the Green Turtle Sportsbook in Towson and Canton, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. So join us for Project Game Day after every game day this football season at PressBoxOnline.com/game day.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Brace yourselves for an unparalleled in-person betting experience at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook and Bars in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between their on-site tellers or the convenience of their self-bet kiosks to place your bets. And now stop by the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton every Wednesday for a free $10 bet. Just show up, sign up, and get your $10 bet for free. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along. You could ask him if, Wednesday would work. I just don't. Tomorrow's bet. We were trying to. It's a whole thing. It's a whole.
Got it.
It's what it is. Griffin understands. The rest of you. You just always have to wonder. Just always. Or tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
Like that type of scenario. I guess I could do it. Nah, I would want to wait till tomorrow afternoon. All right. Hi, Glenn Clark Radio. Just doing some off-air stuff on the air because the hell. It's a holiday week, so you're lucky we're here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, be grateful.
You're welcome.
Be grateful that we're even doing this for you peasants. Today's show is brought to you by County Sports Zone. We are into semifinal week in the state high school football playoffs. Find the latest news, scores, schedules, brackets, the whole thing. Find it all at countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Let's go over. Picks.
Why? Why are you so trepidatious? What's the matter? We're just talking about football games.
I don't know why. I looked at the picks. This is the problem, and I need to change it. The bit that I do is that I just try to make the pick in that moment. I gotta start preparing because in hindsight, I knew all of the 49ers injury issues. We had talked about that. And yet I still, just like a dope, picked the 49ers like they were going to have their team. No Brock Purdy, no Nick Bosa, no Trent Williams. Maybe the 49ers will cover. Stupid.
That's the one that you're kicking yourself about.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I have a 4-4 week. Otherwise, I'm 500, which for me is
hang the banner.
It's worth writing home about. Nobody had a worse week than I did. No one did. Although other people are
trying to make it a contest
for the week. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we started with Iowa, Maryland. I don't know, man. Thanks to everybody who donated to AJ Francis' food drive. That was wonderful. That was lovely. That's where the lovely ended. I'll be writing about Maryland football at PressBoxOnline.com today. Just for those of you that, again, all you have is fire the coach. Look, this is a disappointment. This season is a failure. I think everybody knows that I like Mike Locksley. I have affinity for him, but I'm not going to hide from that. I'm not going to try to gaslight it. This season was a failure. The number of winnable home games that went the other way is unacceptable. That doesn't mean that the coach gets fired. It's just the dumb. It's so low level. It's such a separation from reality. That's not the way it works. You can say both things. You can both say this season was a failure, and yet at the same time, you can say, now you got to go fix it. You've earned that based on the fact that, the 3 seasons that led up to this were the best stretch of 3 seasons in nearly 2 decades. And the crazy part is the first time in school history that they won 3 straight bowl games. That's the bar. And that's there's spoken and unspoken. And I talk about it a lot on this show. The spoken part is, well, you had 3 good seasons. You've earned the right to keep going. The unspoken part is, it's Maryland effing football. I had a moment this weekend watching the insanity of the Arizona State thing from Saturday where I was like, you know what, man? The shame of it is Arizona State, all of a sudden that fan base, that community is raucous and electric. And it's not because they're good. They're just in a crap conference now. So they're good in context, right? They're good
they
the
can
way
win their
that
league, it's
because the league stinks.
Mm-hmm.
And so the argument is, today, Maryland would be far better. Whatever the reasoning was for getting into the Big Ten, today, boy, if you really wanted football to matter at Maryland, if you really wanted to try to make football relevant, you should try to get out of the Big Ten and go back to the ACC. Because the ACC is a league where you could compete. At some point soon, Clemson's going to be gone too. Maybe Miami will stay, maybe Florida State. I don't know. I don't know what the ACC is going to be. Clemson will definitely be gone, and presumably when Clemson's gone, the other 2 schools go as well. Where? I'm not sure. But that's the way it'll work, right? When we get to that point. So particularly then, because the ACC is still one step above the Big 12, in that they still have some blue bloods there. The Big 12's got nothing. There's not a blue blood in the Big 12. That's why, when we were trying to and this isn't a shot at Griffin because he's a Colorado guy, when we were trying to praise Colorado like they were doing something, it was that, hey, you can say they've made progress, but also recognize what's really happening, which is they got the gift of the Big 12 being shit. And it's shit. It stinks. There's one school in the Big 12 where they have legitimate NFL players playing at skill positions, and it's the one that just lost to Kansas on Saturday.
To be fair, Kansas is beating everybody in the Big 12.
I get that, but part of that is because the Big 12 stinks. Because none of these teams are actually good. They're just all hanging out together. It's that eternal thing where we try to look at it's the NFC South over the last few years. Other than Tom Brady's year with the Buccaneers.
2 years.
2 years, thank you, sorry.
Anytime someone in the NFC South gets a win, it's oh.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah, except then you remember, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Panthers only lost by 3 points to the
Yeah, they got
Chiefs.
that going for them.
Come
It's one of the better results in the NFC South all season in modern history. The Big 12 stinks, and the ACC stinks plus. Like, they stink with the caveat that, again, Clemson really is a blue blood. Florida State, I know it's an embarrassment this season, but Florida State is really a blue blood. And Miami.
Don't leave SMU out of that.
Yeah, thank you. They're not a blue blood.
What you said.
If you were in the ACC, you could be competitive-ish. And particularly in the coming years when those schools are likely to be gone, you really could. Then you're in the Big 12 now, and you could be Arizona State. Now, what happens when we get to the part where the Big 10 and the SEC break off and say, if you're not in one of these leagues, then you're not in college football anymore? That's a conversation for another day. And it's not happening. But like the idea that like you went to the Big 10 because you wanted football to matter, well, the flip side argument is, right, well, but if you just keep getting your ass kicked all the time, it's hard to make football matter. It's hard to get boosters involved. It's hard to get people to care. Whereas this weird anomaly that's playing out in Tempe, Arizona, and I do speak of it because I know that a little bit better from my time in Arizona, is like they're not good, but yet that place is it's going crazy out there because they're competing in a different world, and yet you still get an invite to the college football playoff. And like, well, hey, like if we could do that, that's cool. Whereas Maryland will never have the opportunity to sniff the college football playoff playing in the Big 10. But that's the unspoken part about it. The unspoken part is just like, this is your lot in life. Sorry. And even those of you that are like, well, what about Indiana? Yeah, what about Indiana? And I get it. Indiana beat Maryland, and they beat Michigan. They beat the middle of the road teams in the Big 10 that Maryland wasn't able to beat this year. And they had their one magical year, which is still going to come nowhere near them winning the Big 10. They never had a real chance at doing that. It was fun. It was that neat. And we all, myself included, wanted to buy into their ability to be competitive because we hate Ohio State, and like we wanted that to be the case. But this was always going to be Indiana's lot in life. It was always going to be that they were going to be the nail to Ohio State's hammer. Just the reality of it. And they got really lucky that Michigan, has an extraordinary set of circumstances that they're dealing with. Not sure if you heard, but Michigan just landed the number 1 quarterback in the country. They're probably not going to stay in purgatory very long. They sold out to win a national championship, and they dealt with the ramifications this year. And that allowed Indiana to kind of be the benefactor of like, hey, we're not incompetent for this season, and so if you are, we could make something out of that. But the likelihood that Indiana is ever going to become an actual contender, like they'll still probably end up making the college football playoff at this point because for them, thankfully, all the SEC teams chose to lose this weekend. So they'll still probably get in, but they're going to get in to get their asses kicked. Like, it's a token appearance for the sake of, hey, nice to see you. Enjoy this beatdown. You're still Indiana football. And I get it. They're like, well, Curt Cignetti got a contract. Dude, I will, whatever the odds are, beg me for the opportunity to bet that they're never going to win the Big Ten with Curt Cignetti as their head coach. Because one of two things is going to happen. He's going to realize, I wanted this to be real, but it just can't be real. And there's somewhere else where they've got lots more money, and I'm going to take that opportunity instead. Or it's just going to start going south.
When Alabama fires Kalen DeBoer, that's when
where
Curt
Cignetti all of a sudden is like. Well, and add into it, by the way, Indiana also operating with a significantly higher NIL budget for football than Maryland. And they're Indiana. And that's what you're dealing with. And so it sucks, man. This is your lot in life. Best case scenario is be the team that you've been for the last 3 years. Hopefully Malik Washington comes in. And that's also part of the reason why Mike Locksley's not on the hot seat is because, Maryland doesn't get Malik Washington if Mike Locksley's not the coach. They don't get that caliber of quarterback to play at Maryland.
You don't think DJ Durkin could?
Yeah, I'm so sure. Which, again, like, I get it, doesn't mean that Maryland's going to win a national championship or a Big Ten or anything along those lines with Malik Washington, even if he stays, and who knows. But that's the best chance you have at least being competitive. It sucks, man. It sucks. But this is reality for Maryland football. And trying to be angry at Mike Loxley about that is like, hey, the house is on fire. Let's blame the dog. That's not fair. That's not a good comparison. I should have tried to make a comparison here. Like, whose fault is it that the house is on fire? It's, the youngest son could have, I don't know. Never mind. Strike it from the record.
You lit a candle and forgot to...
I got it. Yeah, no, because that would be his fault.
Yeah, you're right.
I got to come up with a scenario by which it's not his fault, but you're choosing to blame him for it anyway, right? Like, that's what I'm trying to come up with.
Because he left the TV on overnight.
Yeah, right? And, like, if he wouldn't have left the TV on, then maybe we would have noticed the fire because we wouldn't have... I don't know. I needed to workshop that one before the show began. I didn't.
Yeah, there's something there.
It'll go down as an all-time miss. But I just got to bail on it now because we're here. The point is, somehow Griffin took Maryland. I don't know why.
Well, because they were getting points at home.
Jeremy, Joe, John and Little Rock, and Ryan also took Maryland.
I like the spot.
I can't believe that I went 3-5 despite the fact that you guys took Maryland.
And I also picked another team in the next game that I should have.
Yeah, what the hell was that? Look, man.
I could have had a great week.
I learned from I'm still confused by what happened at Notre Dame against Northern Illinois. And so, admittedly, that stayed with me going into, like, the Navy matchup against Notre Dame, that, like, I just didn't think Notre Dame was this. And I still don't think they're that good. Like, let's be frank about that. Notre Dame, the playoff was built to get Notre Dame into the playoff, right? Like, they got sick of the fact that Notre Dame wasn't in the 4-team playoff because no matter how hard they tried to get them in, and no matter how lame Notre Dame's schedule was most seasons, like, they still couldn't justify putting these Notre Dame teams in. Notre Dame is going to finish this year without, like, basically playing in the Big 12. Arguably less than playing in the Big 12.
Because they played, like, the 4 worst ACC teams.
Like,
somehow.
It's bad. Like, it is. So I'm still not sure that Notre Dame's any good.
So they beat A&M. And then
right.
Army, Navy, the next two
best teams
opponents.
They played on their schedule. Yeah, they played roughly a Big 12 schedule. Louisville ended up being decent, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
decent, but not decent. Right. Georgia Tech might be their second best win of the year.
Why? Because it was on the road, or like?
Well, because Georgia Tech ended up like proving they could beat some teams. Although, in fairness, we all thought that Florida State was a real win for Georgia Tech. Obviously, that ended up not being.
They were supposed to win that one.
Like it's just. I don't think Notre Dame's good, but they were clearly better than the academies. And, like, the idea that there was some sort of difference between Army had beaten no one. No one. You think Indiana – Army had played, I think, the second worst schedule in the entire country.
Wow.
It's the way it worked out in the conference. It's also part of the deal of having these big conferences is that, like, there's going to be more years where a team is just going to luck into, man, these are the teams we got this year. And that's the way that it worked. Bummer. That's ironically, this was the year that Maryland wanted to play Michigan, right? Like, we all thought it was a benefit for them to not play Michigan for the first time. Well, in hindsight. So Army, it was hopeless. It was hopeless, and they were never in it, obviously, and that story comes to an end as well. At this point, it's basically like I know Boise State still will have 2 games left to play. They tried to lose to Wyoming on Saturday night too. They've got whoever they're playing this. I don't remember who they're playing this week. Is it San Jose? Maybe is it Coach Ken?
That'd be fun.
And
pick that one, huh?
And then they'd have the Mountain West Championship game. If they win those 2 games, they're the obviously they're the representative.
They play Oregon State.
Oregon State
on Friday at noon. So wait a minute, a 10 a.m. local because they're at home. A 10 a.m. local.
Is Boise?
Are they Pacific time?
They
got to be
Mountain time.
They've got to be Mountain time.
I don't know.
Idaho's got to be Mountain time.
I have to be
honest.
No
way they're
with
playing
you.
at noon.
Oh, you think there's no way?
You're
going to say those words that there's no way? that Fox didn't just say "F them kids" and decide to skip
Mountain Time.
Mountain Time. All right.
Yeah, a very
Which
modest
obviously,
10 a.m. kick. That's
obviously,
the same time Turkey Bowl
way
kicks off,
way
you know?
way better, way better. Anyway, Griffin and Andrew Stecco were on Army in that one.
Yeah, I don't know what. Well.
Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid that maybe Indiana could keep it. I feel stupid for that. I don't know why I did that. It was so dumb. Although when I looked up and it was 7-0, I was like,
Yeah. 3-0 on the first drive.
No, that was never going to be a thing. Myself and KZ, Kyle, Paul, and Ryan Chell were all in Indiana there. That was dumb. Only a handful were on Cleveland in Thursday night game. Griffin, KZ, Jeremy, and Joe Serpico were all in Cleveland in that one and got that point. Only Jeremy was on the Colts yesterday, so a lone wolf loss there.
Yeah, I'm not sure Red Zone ever cut to that game, did they?
I think they did, but just to see Jameer Gibbs going.
Jameer Gibbs
Well,
score a
we act like
touchdown.
it was a blowout. Like it wasn't.
Well,
this
that's what I mean. Like it was like such a.
It was just kind of
slow
a meh
game.
football game. Yeah.
What was it? 24-6? Was that
Something
the
like that
final?
sounds about right. 24-6. Yeah, it was. Ugh. Anyway, the moral of the story being, Jeremy had the Colts, and was the only one, and so he gets a lone wolf loss. And I feel like the record for lone wolves, it's not been very good this season, right?
No, it's been that was. Okay, it's not like Jeremy's got all the losses. It looks like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like 5 and. Wait, is this calculated correctly? I guess it is.
I don't know.
5 and 4.
5 and 4.
Yeah, that actually seems.
All right, I'll
Pretty
take it back.
pretty
then.
strong.
I'll take it back then. Yeah,
That's
not bad.
just been our first lone wolf in a
little while. Yeah.
because Jeremy had Rice over Navy. That was his only.
That was
his only
that
win.
was a good lone wolf win.
Kyle had the Rams over the Vikings on that Thursday night game.
I didn't remember.
Everyone was on the Vikings, and I think that was the game like that Puka and Cooper Kupp both came back, and then
okay.
the Rams won that one. Yeah, Jeremy lost Charlotte against Navy. Kyle was on the Cowboys way back against the Lions.
Okay. All right. The point being,
Yes.
this one did not go his way. This one was not the case, as Detroit continues to look like the best team in football. San Francisco, yeah, I guess I just sort of on Thursday kind of thought like, it won't be that. Brock Purdy's gonna play. Nick Bosa's gonna play. None of them. Trent Williams. None of them. Brandon Allen. What an embarrassment. This is the eternal.
It's going to be Daniel Jones, don't worry.
Right. Well, you say that. Like, the Raiders could be in the market for Daniel Jones. Apparently.
Well, they're trying to lose, so.
You say that, but he might need to be their quarterback next season. And for Daniel Jones, like, unless Brock Purdy's definitively done for the year, the idea of playing one game versus potentially getting to play all of the games could stand out here, as he's going to have the ability to make his own decision on where it is that he's going to go. There was I think it was Josina Anderson who reported that the Raiders, the 49ers, and the Ravens were the teams that
Vikings thrown in. Maybe that wasn't Josina's report, but I thought I saw the Vikings somewhere.
I could be conflating multiple reports as well, but one of the big Sunday morning reports had the Ravens in the mix, and I was like, okay, sure. And
Carson Wentz is backing up Patrick Mahomes.
Well, no, it's not about it's that yesterday's the argument for it, right? Like that if you're the 49ers, you want to have a better backup for a one-game scenario where your quarterback doesn't play. And it's such a unique set of circumstances that we're talking about, is what is the possibility of there being one game where you need your backup quarterback to play? Because if you need your backup quarterback to play for multiple games, Daniel Jones isn't winning you a thing. Not a thing. But if you need him for one game, maybe. Was Daniel Jones going to beat do you have any confidence that Daniel Jones is going to beat the Packers? Because you've watched a lot of Daniel Jones. Do you have any reason to believe that Daniel Jones was going to go beat the Green Bay Packers yesterday?
He did beat Lamar Jackson once.
Yes, that's the one. He puts the 1 and 1 in 24 or whatever the number is at this point. Like, that's I get it. You would have liked your chances better. It would have been a far more competitive and probably watchable game. But every time Daniel Jones is in a spot like that, it seems like he comes up a little bit short. So Daniel Jones being the Ravens quarterback is not going to suddenly make me change my opinion about the Ravens' ability to beat a good team. Now, if the Ravens needed a quarterback for, I was going to say the Browns game, but hey, Ravens can't beat the Browns. Let's try to think of is that the only bad team? Who's the other? There's one other bad team left on the schedule, right?
Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah.
Yes. If the Ravens needed a quarterback for the Giants,
That would be.
yeah, you'd like your chances with Daniel Jones better than you would with Josh Johnson.
Especially in that game specifically.
But again, if you're Daniel Jones, why in the world would you be coming to Baltimore? To do what?
Begin his new career as
if you didn't want to play, you could just
his
not.
15-year career as a backup.
Yeah, you could just not play in New York. Like if that's what it's about, is not playing.
And are we sure that the Ravens aren't interested in playing him at
safety? Right.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that could be interesting. Anyway, moral of the story being San Francisco gets their asses kicked on Green Bay, where Griffin, Jeremy, Joe, John Proctor, and KZ.
I wasn't questioning your data, John. I was questioning our memory, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, correct. No, you were questioning his data. You were questioning his record keeping.
No, I wasn't. I was just saying, is this right? I was like,
no, you were questioning his record.
I was like,
keeping.
in my mind,
No.
We
this
were
was
a lot worse.
This was a direct shot at John Proctor.
No,
in fact, John, you should have heard the things that he was saying during the commercial break. Why do we still let this asshole be involved? It's the worst person I've ever. There was a lot of stuff going on. So much for me buying into Arizona. So much for that. I said I've had enough. I'm an Arizona believer now. And then coming out of the bye, they turn around and score 6 points. 6 points.
So I should have known because it was a double XP weekend in Call of Duty.
Oh, that Kyler Murray was going to be a little preoccupied. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's it for me believing in Arizona.
I agree.
That ship has sailed.
I think it's time to.
That ship has sailed. Seahawks win that one. Andrew Stecca, as well as James, Jeremy, Joe, and John Proctor. Most of the Jays. Not John and Little Rock. All the rest of the Jays. We're all on Seattle and get that point.
Mike McDonald right back into the Coach of the Year conversation.
Now, I will question Proctor's record keeping because he suggests that there was a Sunday night game between Philly and Philly. And I don't think that was the way that it went. I don't think Philadelphia played at Philadelphia. So, yeah, take that, Proctor, on your high horse. Look at you. How dare you question my record keeping? What is this game, this Philly situation you have over here?
That must have been me. I don't know.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah, I think that might have been me.
You let me disparage John, and it was you?
Well, I had to let you get your licks
Griffin's
in,
just over there sitting there like, John.
Well, I wasn't sure what you were talking about at first, and then I realized, it looks like, because I usually enter the actual picks.
Way to go, asshole. Way to go.
And then John will do the math.
Way to go. Oh, God. I take it all back, John. You the man. Anyway. The
man. Wow.
Yeah, well,
get ahead of ourselves.
You suck.
No.
I'll tell you who sucks is the guy that picked, the Rams.
Oh, well, I was about to say who had a better week. But
yeah. Took the Rams, huh?
Well, I did take the Rams.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm such a mark. I'm like, I can see it. I guess I can see that, yeah.
I mean, every time I watch Puka Nacua play football, though,
it's crazy, right? It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Yeah, the Eagles, man, they're on one, and provided that the Ravens get the job done tonight, obviously that becomes the game of the week in the NFL next week. As the Eagles look like a machine, like they really do, and Saquon Barkley has been everything that you would expect Saquon Barkley to be. It's that thing that we all said, like, well, you look at them on paper, they should be really good. Yes, they're really good. Maybe somebody should have paid more than $5 million for Saquon Barkley. What planet are we living on? Somebody told me, or somebody on Twitter, and you could tell me if this is true or not, that the Eagles are paying Saquon Barkley $5 million less than the Browns are paying Jerry Jeudy. I need to know if that's true or not. Like, what a stupid, stupid world we live in. And again, I was one of those marks like, hey, is running back the place where you spend your money? Like, maybe you need to go get another wide receiver.
Danny Heifetz?
Right, but I need you to look up to see if it's factual. That was the point.
I know. Well, that's what I'm trying to.
Oh, for God's sake!
Trying to figure out.
Griffin, this is the world we live in. As people his age think that we go to Twitter in order to find our facts.
I mean, who else is going to have it? Let's see.
We can find this out in. How many seconds do you think it's going to take me to find the fact on this? Jerry Jeudy this season is making. His cap hit is only $4.7 million, but his actual 2024 cash is $19 million.
Wow. Saquon's 2024 cash is $13.5
million. That would be a $5 million difference. Nah, the cap hit for Jerry Jeudy isn't all that bad, so I'd take him, but yikes.
Cap hit for Saquon this season?
Yeah.
3.8.
Yep. What a world we live in. Anyway, yeah, I was on the Rams like a doofus, like an absolute. Like I'm so grossed out by my picks, and I don't even have a reason. I just look at the number and I have, and I'm like, Rams. Stupid. Paul Valley,
That's what you
thankfully,
sound like, yeah.
Paul Valley was also on the Rams. Both the Johns were on the Rams, as was Jeremy, and that, yeah. So going into Monday Night Football, where there are a few folks that are still on the Chargers. Who all's on the Chargers here? It's Joe, John, and John are all on the Chargers going into tonight. So there will be nothing different at the top or the bottom of the table. At the top of the table, Ryan Chell will be 2 games up, just 2 games up now on KZ. KZ 6-2 so far, Ryan 3-5. At the bottom of the table, both Paul and I went 3-5, and we'll either go 4-5 or 3-6 for the week. So I will still be 1 game behind. So there's the only good news is I'm not losing ground to Paul Valley. The bad news for Andrew Stecca, who may be purposely trying to lose ground, is that he's not. Because of that,
he just can't do as bad as you are.
He can't. Still 5 games clear of your pal, and so he can't even get into spectacularly avoid losing territory.
Is that what maybe is that the play you want to
I
make sure
want to make sure Andrew Stecca. I am the hero that we need to keep Stecca in the league. That's what I'm doing over here. My singular purpose is to keep Stecca in the league. My oh my. All right, yeah. That was picks for the week. Picks, as always, of the Lions are brought to you by FanDuel, which, of course, is just steps away from sports and social inside Live Casino and Hotel. Griffin.
$7 in free slot play at Live Casino and Hotel for every time that Baltimore's football team or Washington's football team score a touchdown during their home games this season. Live Rewards members will be getting $7 in free slot play. Have to have your Live Rewards card inserted correctly into the slot machine. Any slot machine on the floor be actively playing, and once those touchdowns score during home games for Baltimore and Washington this season, you get $7 in free slot play. At Ronald Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And remember that in picks at the top of the table, we're playing for a little bit of cash. At the bottom of the table, we're trying to avoid being the one who's got to come in here and do all the Brazilian stuff. Got to get a Brazilian. Got to take 4 strikes from John Rock. God, what a bad idea that is. Sing Copacabana and Rio. I just keep thinking about it. Because the bit was always going to be that.
Now you really have to be thinking about it, but yeah.
And then the other part is, what's the other part?
The Couscous Paulista.
The sardine fruitcake. Last year, our picks contest loser was Jeremy Conn. But he came in late to the contest. He came in like 5 or 6 weeks into the year.
Yeah, was it 4 or 5?
Something like that. And he was so bullish that
he was all
like,
cocky.
He was like, I'm going to pass somebody. I'm not going to be the loser. Well, not only did he not pass anybody, I believe he finished with the worst percentage.
Yeah, like
of everybody last year.
He would have lost.
So even if he had played all the games,
assuming he sticks to that
percentage still would have been. He would have been the loser anyway. So that's why Jeremy did his. Somebody was it Stan asked what this is. We still have Jeremy's shillelagh. We might auction it off for a helping up mission if you want Jeremy's shillelagh. Yeah, right. But anyway, so Jeremy paid his penalty, but because of the strange nature of Jeremy entering in late, we were like, maybe we should do a penalty as well for vice loser. Maybe because not everybody was playing with the same level playing field. There should also be a vice loser punishment. And as you'll remember last year, the Texas Rangers made a run to the World Series, and it was fueled.
Okay. That was where that came from. I couldn't remember.
I'm sure you've got like some music or something prepared. You took some video from Saturday that you could share in the background as we do this segment, as we talk about the.
A lot of Three Doors Down.
I can just do it. No, I don't care about that. I don't care about. Wolfie Van Halen does not mean anything to me. I don't care about that.
Well, the jerk from Mammoth. I was like, oh shoot, are we gonna like get right into this? I thought we were gonna be able to get it over with quickly. He was like, "Are you guys ready to take?" Like this was like I guess like probably an hour in. Are you guys ready to take it higher with Creed? And I was like, oh shoot, we're starting now. Let's go.
He was introducing them.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I am stupid. As soon as I realized, I was like, oh, yeah.
This was the song that apparently fueled the Texas Rangers to the World Series title last year. And so we said, all right, if they're coming back, if they're doing a world tour. God, I'm so. It just moves you. I can only imagine how spiritual it was for you on Saturday night. If they're doing a world tour,
certainly,
then the Vice loser. Like, I once had to go to see Smash. I had to go to a Smash Mouth concert. And you guys still don't talk to me about the PTSD that I have experienced because of this. I need you to be allies.
Allies.
A lot of you
had to survive Smash Mouth.
Instead make jokes or ask the trivia DJ to play a Smash Mouth song or something like that. But Griffin said, let's go then. Let's make our escape to see Creed at the CFG Bank Arena on Saturday night.
I didn't.
What a night.
Boy,
what a night.
Seriously.
All right, so give me the highlights. Give me the breakdown.
The highlight,
the entire,
I guess
give me the whole story.
I
give
saw,
me the how, you got there when. I want the whole recap review.
Got there right at 7. You know, which
Okay.
is when the door. Well, I guess not when the doors open, but like when I guess everything like started. Or I guess I was parking at 7, so I didn't get there right at 7. But I was walking in by about like 7:15, 7:20. And so I was waiting.
You pre-purchased a ticket, or did you wait until?
I waited until the last possible
very
second.
last
Maybe
moment.
somebody was gonna be like,
Try to dump
oh,
a ticket.
Shoot.
Can't make it to Creed. I'll
Darn,
dump
our
a
buddy
ticket for
Steve can't make it, and I was gonna be like, "What's that? You have an extra ticket?"
Right.
I didn't get in. I didn't pick up on any of that. So once I like got in line, I went to Ticketmaster here, and I was like, I have several different because I go to sports games, sports contests.
You're an expert in this.
I don't want to say expert, but I'm well versed on the ticketing apps and surveying the cheapest spot. And so a $50 floor ticket was available on Ticketmaster.
That's a win.
Yeah, and
that
was the cheapest period. And I was like, okay, I guess might as well get a floor.
You got
seat.
to be on the floor.
Yeah.
For Creed. Oh hell yeah! God, what a time! All right, so
yeah.
So you're right. Describe the scenery. Describe the folks that were at the Creed concert.
I mean,
on Saturday night.
I was definitely looking around, and I was like, yeah.
But what does that mean? You're not describing it.
A lot of people that looked, the same complexion as myself.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And
right. So young.
And,
young. A lot of young people.
I wouldn't say
a
whole lot.
A lot of internet
people.
radio producers.
I might have been the only one.
I doubt that.
I don't know. I don't know how many other Creed.
A lot of Towson alums.
Let's see.
People that are like you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to just can't quite put my finger on it. What would that be? People that look like you.
If I wouldn't have been surprised. Well, I knew for a fact there were at least a few other people from Carroll County.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of Carroll Countyites.
Yeah.
Percentage of people that share your complexion. Percentage at the Creed show.
All right. Let's try to get an accurate number here. How many seats do you think there are in at CFG?
Say it's
it was like
15,000. I don't think that's. I don't know if that's how many they use for concerts, but we'll say 15,000.
Yeah, okay. I guess so. It was definitely pretty. Once like Creed got up, it was a very healthy crowd. Like I was looking at, like I was probably in the back row like of the floor seats, and like my like row was pretty empty, but like otherwise it was like I guess I don't really know how the floor seats in front of me.
Okay.
They looked pretty filled. And then looking around, every
but percentage of the people that looked like you.
A lot of
percentage of the people. This is Conjuring. Answer the question.
99%.
99%.
99%.
I would have bet the over. I would have.
And that might be low.
Yeah.
That might be low. And then yeah, a lot of people like myself.
Okay, so you get
not
in.
like myself, but
now you sent me a picture of the merchandise stand, which involved the single greatest piece of merchandise that I've ever seen. How do you not have this up at the screen right now for people to? You really got it. I need you to nail this more. This is the stuff right here. So Griffin, who's at the Creed show, but is not really doing anything with it. He's just there. I say, hey man. You gonna post something? You gonna do some content for us? He's like, I guess.
I wasn't necessarily proud to be there.
You know how much content I did when I was at Smash Mouth? I couldn't have done more content. So Griffin sent out like a tweet, like one, and he did send a picture of the merch stand, and the merch stand includes, I don't know, whatever the price was. you should have been willing to pay double for. Yes. Famously,
all right, here you go. Now you can see the
Thanksgiving week.
The merch stand here.
And as you know, the greatest halftime show in human history was Creed on Thanksgiving Day at the Dallas game. Just putting on a spectacle of awful music, shirtless guys flying in. I've never seen anything like it. It has mesmerized our country for decades. And he did it all wearing his own Dallas Cowboys jersey. His name on it, Scott Stapp. And at the merch stand, at the Creed show, they were selling a Scott Stapp Cowboys jersey. How do you not pay? If it's $300, it's a bargain. How do you not purchase that item?
Because I already spent money on this evening.
That's the money that you should be spending.
It was $125 for the Scott Stapp.
This is a regrettable decision on your part.
The Scott
is a
Stapp,
failure.
Not stitched numbers or lettering name jersey.
Yes.
That it looks like the Cowboys jersey that you'd see someone wearing in a movie that they didn't get the rights to the NFL.
It's not licensed for sure. It's not licensed. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows. You show up wearing that on Thanksgiving, the number of high fives that you're getting is beyond 1,000. People are high five. They're walking back into the room to high five.
I don't think you know my family.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's the type of thing that if you wear on Thanksgiving, people that hate Creed love. Like, it's just the recognition of the moment. Like, dude, you nailed it. You look better than the guy that's dressed up as Christopher Columbus. You look better, or Pilgrims. I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Sure, we got the Creed 24 t-shirt.
No, that's stupid. Everything else, stupid. That item is one that you had to purchase. And I've got to question all the decision-making you have in life. The fact that I didn't buy the Scott Stapp
jersey.
Purchase that item. So there's that. So the merch stand was part of the evening.
Yeah.
The music starts. You gotta watch Wolfie Van Halen and.
Is that what?
Do you not know that's what Mammoth is?
Oh, really? No, I did not know that's what. I don't know. I didn't know any other. I didn't know any music that was played except for
Eddie Van Halen's
Higher.
song.
One of the Three Doors Down songs.
Which Three Doors Down song did you know? Kryptonite?
I don't know.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?
No, he didn't even play that one. I don't think he played
there's
that
no
one.
way they didn't play that song.
Maybe. I
no
guess.
chance in
you're
hell
right.
they
You're right. Because now I
song.
remember that they had the Three Doors Down logo and it was like the Superman, like in the shape of a Superman logo. So I think
correct.
They did.
That's
play.
all they've got, dog.
And then there was one other I thought they played that sounded like something about coming again. I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
You knew another song that was something about coming again?
No, like it sounded familiar. I didn't necessarily.
Well, obviously you took video in order to be able to share the
I think
class.
So. I forget what songs I took video for.
I don't know what we're even doing here. Here's their set list. They played.
That was just them playing the guitar, I guess.
Yeah, they play. I do know It's Not My Time. I am familiar with that song. Loser. Sadly, I'm familiar with Loser. Oh God, I know more of these songs than I. Wait a second. That's all you got of the video?
Well, of that
you didn't get video of the actual song
of that particular video. I was trying to watch football as well. I had to pull the Glenn Clark special and watch his army went down in flames.
Yeah, good bet you made there.
Yeah.
It says that after song number 7, this is how it's written on the set list. I need to know about this. Three Doors Down played the song "Away from the Sun," not familiar, and then it says on the set list FM, it says, "quote followed by a few words about Jesus."
That is correct.
Yeah,
there was a very.
They were doing some.
It was a very.
Doing some preaching.
Oh yeah.
Doing a little revivaling.
And I got into it too. Did you convert? I was like, you know what? No, I didn't convert. But he was like, I want everybody in here to repeat after me.
I really wish you would have come back in here and said, I actually got baptized at the Creed show.
Who's the lead singer of Three Doors Down?
I don't know. How would I know?
Yeah, he brought me up on stage and baptized me.
That would have been a great story. All right, so what time does Creed come on?
God, too late.
That's not the answer to the question.
What time did Creed come on? Let's see. I think
easy over there.
Was this Creed?
I don't know.
Yeah, this was Creed. So this was, according to my phone, this was 10:08. So,
all right, first, Boy, this is a terrible way to start the set. A song I've never heard of. It's called Bullets. I don't know what that is. Next song I've never heard of.
That's a very good crowd.
This is the start of Creed? Is that?
No, this was we had
Did
been
you
into it.
record any songs?
I guess just that one.
Jesus Christ.
What?
What? This is hopeless. You've been doing this.
I guess this is just a guitar.
Great. Just
Sounds.
dynamite stuff, man. Really dynamite.
Man, God, step.
But at least you put it on the screen for everybody to see it so you could share. I just give up, man. Just give up. We are.
No.
I don't even want to continue. This is going so poorly.
It was. I mean, it was not a fun. It was not a fun time. I could have been.
I don't believe that you didn't.
I saw my buddy Zach.
Zach?
Yeah, from I played baseball with him.
Oh,
and,
your buddy
and
Zach
softball
from
as well.
baseball. We were
Yeah.
very excited about that.
Yeah. So it was great to see him
Oh,
catch up.
Paul
with him
Valley,
again.
unironically,
Yeah,
was
Paul
at
Valley
this
was.
concert.
Unironically.
Didn't lose a bet. Apparently chose to go there, which, again, backs up my belief that when he lost that bet that required him to go to the Limp Bizkit show, he didn't lose a bet that day. He was excited. He had the time of his life. He was unironically at the Creed show on Saturday night, apparently. You were going to pretend like you didn't.
Superman. Yeah,
you didn't play some air guitar? You didn't.
No, but I definitely was doing these.
You were doing these?
Because everybody around me was like.
You were feeling the moment. Yeah, right?
I was like,
you
yeah,
wanted
we're
to be,
here,
you
I
wanted to
guess,
be part of
you
it.
know.
You wanted to be part of it.
Army's losing by 28. Might as well get into it.
You
know.
sang along. You were rocking out. You were doing the whole thing.
I could not sing along. I didn't know the words to just about anything.
I refuse to believe that you don't know the words to Higher. I refuse.
Well,
to
yeah,
believe that.
I mean, I know like the a sentence in Higher. Yeah,
I'm
Had to
so
repeat
sure
that.
you're.
Can you take?
Yeah, 100%. And you were rocking out, man. You were having a time of
Didn't
your
come on
life.
until like 11. God,
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
just
rough night for your boy.
Had to couldn't I had to be singing Higher. It was neat having Higher come on right as Alabama goes down.
Just be honest. You had a better time. Be honest. You had a better time than you expected to. Be honest.
You know what? Oh, man, it was just it's just the hassle of it.
Once you got in the building, you were at the concert. You had a better time than you expected to have.
You know what? I think so.
Because you enjoyed yourself.
No, I didn't enjoy myself. But it was,
yourself.
We're here.
This is like my kids.
Should I sit here and pout?
This is like my kids when we're in the car.
Should I sit here and sit while everyone around me standing?
They're like,
I'm going to stand.
My kids are the bit where they're
tap
like,
my foot a little bit.
I want you to put on a stupid song. Put on Taylor Swift. And I'm like, no, you just like Taylor Swift. Like, just be honest about it. They're like, no, I want to listen to it because it's dumb.
Yeah, right. I did get that selfie during they were playing Superman during that song.
I don't care about Three Doors Down. I just don't care about Three Doors Down.
Well, Three Doors Down was
the song is
felt
called
like the bulk.
The song is called Kryptonite.
Three Doors Down felt like they went on for about 2.5 hours.
It's not called Superman. It's called Kryptonite. That's the name of the song. By the way, I have seen Creed and Three Doors Down together. In 2000.
Congrats. I don't know.
No.
Was it as Jesus-y in 2000?
I don't remember it
Down?
being Jesus-y. I remember. Oh, I've told the story before. I ended up seeing Creed twice.
He said after every single song,
the single most
he
embarrassing.
said, "God bless."
Oh no. The single most embarrassing story of my life is the Creed summer, the summer of Creed, whatever year, 99, 2000, whatever, one of those summers. I went with a girl to see Creed at Hershey Park that I was into, but she didn't know that I was into her, and I was like trying to use this. And I walked away for a moment, and she was making out with another dude. And I had to drive her back.
Blame
and
Scott Stapp.
I've never been more. And so it was like the lowest moment of my life. Like the lowest moment of my life. I took her to Hershey Park. One of her friends heard me tell the story and was like sympathetic. I made it seem like she would be into Creed, and she was like, well, if you want to take me to see Creed, I'll make out with you. And I was like, all right.
It has been my dream to make out with someone at a Creed concert.
I went to see Creed twice in the same summer. That's an actual thing that occurred in my life. Now,
Where was the second one at?
Merriweather.
Oh, okay.
Second one, far more fruitful for your pal. Much more fruitful trip to a Creed show than the first one was. The first one, not great. Second one, much better. Much better. I also got 3 traffic tickets on my way home from that first Creed show at Hershey Park. And one was that I was driving after midnight on a provisional license, so I had to have my dad come pick me up. and drive this young lady who had been making out with another dude home, and then drive me home.
How'd you get pulled over? Where'd you get pulled over?
I got pulled over.
Like on 83 or
no,
like?
I was on. I think I was on 1. I think
Oh,
no.
okay.
I got to think about this for a second.
How far like from home were you?
I was 15 minutes from home. I was 15 minutes
okay,
from
that's
home.
not as bad, I guess. As
But
saying,
I got off. You know what it was?
Hey, we're in Harrisburg. Can you?
Jesus, dude. It's so bad. It was so bad. Yeah, I think it was 1. I was on, and I just got off. I got off 695 at 43, and at 43 I was trying to get on 1, and I realized like very last minute that you couldn't make a left turn, and it was going to add like 10 minutes to my night, so I was like, I'll just go ahead and make the left turn anyway. And a cop just happened to be pulling through at the exact same moment. So I said, oh, no. Then I decided to compound the problem, and in the process, I also made an illegal U-turn.
This is when they came out. 9:30.
You were chanting Creed.
Had to.
You were chanting Creed. Listen to you. Creed. 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 Very excited.
Is this what they do? I guess is what they do.
I have no. I don't know.
Because they just put the name on like the screen, and it just like flashes, and I guess every time it flashes, you're supposed to go
just
Creed.
yell
Creed.
Sure. So I assume now if we said you got to rate your experience at the Creed concert, what song did you discover that you ended up listening to on the ride home that you said this is moving into the rotation for me?
Yeah.
No, don't lie. Don't lie now.
I had to watch
I understand you got to keep up appearances, but don't lie. There was a song that you discovered, and you were like,
all right. Before I threw on the Auburn and was that A&M that played? Yeah.
Proctor said you could say Griffin caught a staph infection. No, I don't think the girl made out with Scott Stapp. It was some other. I would actually like. I would. I don't. This is gonna sound like a weird way of saying it. It would have been all right if it was Scott Stapp. It was some other loser in the crowd. Anyway, what were you saying? You were saying something?
I was trying to come up with the song that I guess I heard.
Yeah.
That
Was it
felt.
With Arms Wide Open?
It wasn't With Arms
Was
Wide
it
Open.
My Sacrifice?
It might have been.
Was it
My Sacrifice?
When you are with me, I'm free. Was it that one? Huh? Is it that one?
No.
No?
I gotta look at the. Do you have the set list up?
I do have the set list.
What was like the third? It was like the third or fourth song, maybe. I feel like was speaking.
The first song was Bullets. The second song
not
was
that
Freedom
one.
Fighter. The third song was Torn, which I know I've heard before, but I don't remember it. The fourth song was Never Die. The fifth one was Are You Ready, which that one was a jam back in the day.
That might have been.
Are
it.
You ready?
That might have been.
Was there a
I think
10,
it was.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
You know a lot of Creed.
Oh, dude. I went to 2 Creed concerts in the same summer, a-hole. I just told you that.
I didn't know that you were listening. I didn't know you were actively
Well, I
listening.
don't have it. I wanted to get laid, Griffin. I was doing what I could. I know the 8 Creed songs that everybody else knows. Those are the ones. And that Are You Ready is one of them. My Own Prison is another one that I know.
Yeah, I don't think it was My
What
Own
If
Prison.
is one that I know. Yeah,
No.
actually, I probably would have known 9 Creed songs. I would have known. Hang on. Are You Ready? My Own Prison. What If?
About 8 more than I guess me.
Don't Stop Dancing. I only know because it was also part of the Thanksgiving halftime show. And he brought like his sister out as like a special guest to sing, and he was very convinced that he was going to make his sister a star that day, and no one remembers it.
Gave away a
at all.
guitar. That was cool.
What's This Life For is definitely one that I know. With Arms Wide Open, Higher, One Last Breath. I think I know One Last Breath. Yeah, I think I know that one. And My Sacrifice. So, yeah, I would have known 9 Creed songs out of the 16 that they played. I would have had a better than 50% rate at the Creed concert on Saturday night. But Are You Ready's moving into the rotation for you?
No, but
yeah, it is. Don't lie.
It was definitely. I was definitely banging. That probably brought up a one of these.
Are you ready to give your life to Jesus? You ready to make that move? It's a big.
The 3 Doors Down guy was very convincing.
Yeah. What was his sales pitch? What was it?
It was I can't remember.
Oh. I don't think it was as convincing as you're presenting.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think that's the case. And
it was a good attempt though.
And the Creed concert on the whole, scale of 1 to 10, Scott Stapp infections. How many Scott Stapp infections?
I probably came away with about 5 Scotch Taff infections.
You loved it. You had a great – because obviously you're lying. Like, nobody's going to say what the actual score is. They're going to say something 2 below. So you obviously had the best time. It was a 7 out of 10.
I think it was perfect. 5 out of 10.
You had a great time.
If Army had covered, it might have been
you could have met some girl.
It might have been
your pal sent you a drink.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that got me a bottle of water.
Good guy. I said $20. That would have gotten you an alcohol. 1. But it would have gotten you an alcohol.
Yeah, it got me 1. You're right.
It would have gotten you an alcohol of some sort. An alcohol of your choosing. Oh, old GC. Good guy GC sent you a booze.
Thank you.
All right.
I did appreciate that. That
All
was
right,
helpful.
that was
helpful.
that
That helped speed up the night a little bit. Maybe why, because it came after the 3 Doors Down. Maybe that's why 3 Doors Down felt like 3 hours.
Okay. That was Griffin's
And Creed
night.
wasn't nearly as long.
Griffin's night at the Creed concert. When we come back in, Jeremy Conn will join us. I don't know. We'll talk to him about Creed. I don't know what we're doing. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Visit Hartford is bringing you a brand new event this holiday season that the whole family will enjoy. Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium, home of the Aberdeen Ironbirds, will transform into a holiday light experience. You'll be amazed by jaw-dropping light displays, thrilled by a visit to Santa's workshop, and have the holiday time of your life with sleigh rides, a special vendor village, a s'mores-making station, and so much more. Hartford Holidays, new at Ripken Stadium, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, Black Friday through December 22nd. For more information and to purchase tickets, head to visithartford.com.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Brooks Dubose profiles Maryland basketball forwards Derek Queen and Julian Reese as the Baltimore-built duo reunites in College Park with hopes of bringing the Terps back to prominence. Also inside, meet college basketball players from all of the area's D1 programs. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores, where you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR. Tonight, Project Game Day, immediately following the big Ravens-Chargers matchup. All of a sudden, I'm like, huh? Yeah, tonight, Project Game Day, after the game. Come hang out with us, PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay. Myself, Rita, Femi, KZ, Steck, whoever else is hopping in. We'll see you when the game is over, PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay for Project Game Day tonight. Hey, real quick, the Orioles have announced their full coaching staff for 2025, and 2 notes that people are picking up on. The first being they have a new bench coach, and that bench coach is the person that Brandon Hyde, among others, has said was extraordinarily responsible for changing culture with this franchise. Robinson Chirinos back with the Orioles as their bench coach this season. And then one other addition to the Major League coaching staff of note, Buck Britton, who, of course, has been in the minors, Zach Britton's brother, who's been a manager at the AA and AAA. Buck Britton joins the Major League club as the title is just listed as Major League Coach. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that role is, but he is listed as Major League Coach. So that's a change for the Orioles coaching staff this season. Joining us now, as he does every Monday, he is our friend, Big Bad Morning Show, and also ConcreteLocks.com. Mr. Jeremy Conn back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's up, man? I'm good.
How'd it go with the eulogy?
That went fine. Like, it was. I mean, there were a couple like things that I wanted to say that I didn't, but much like most things in my life, I was a little quicker than I'd hoped. But no, like I thought it went well, and got to see a lot of family. And it's weird. I was telling somebody else, it's kind of like my grandfather was the bridge between a big portion of his side of the family, and I don't know if I'm going to see those people ever again. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's almost like saying goodbye to everyone.
That's rough. No, so I think I told you I did the eulogy. My childhood lifelong best friend passed away a few years ago. And I did the eulogy, and then I woke up one night in like a cold sweat and forgot to include the story of when one night we were kids, he just called me and was like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" And I was like, I'm hanging out. I'm making out with a girl." And he was like, "Dude, me too, and for some reason I thought you might be as well, and I wanted to call you and talk about it." And it was like one of my favorite stories of all time, and I forgot to put it in the eulogy, and I've never forgiven myself for that. Like,
that's a great story too. Like the fact that you had a buddy that was doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess anytime you have a lifelong friend, that's something to be. It's kind of special because nowadays so many people just grow apart. That's life.
And in fairness, we were probably 16 or something like this when this occurred. Like we were young enough that it mattered, but yeah.
You weren't like 7 on the cell phone calling and saying, "I think you're kissing someone, bro."
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Griffin was just telling us his tales of his experience. He finally paid off his debt over the weekend and went and saw Creed on Saturday night. And he has he's converted. He's in now. He's a huge Creed fan.
He likes them?
Yep, and he came to Jesus as well. He gave his life to Christ.
Mr. Three Doors Down
at the Creed show on Saturday night. What is the musical act?
Is that odd for a Jewish kid to give his life to Jesus?
It's a little. It's surprising.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
But, all right,
dude, they're just really persive, man.
Didn't know how the tribe felt about it, but all right.
Oddly, not only did he give his life to Christ, but he's actually now dating the guitar player from Creed. It's really weird.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
How that all worked out on Saturday.
So how many other songs did Griffin know before going in?
He alleges 2, but
okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. This is not the type of music I take.
Nobody said it's the. It's just that they're so ubiquitous. That's the way that
do you know when I was born? Like I don't know Creed.
All right.
Creed is not a.
Yeah, I'm so sure.
Well, hold on. I could sit here and break down the Four Tops and Marvin Gaye and the Temptations, and I was nowhere near.
Are you comparing Creed to Marvin Gaye now? What's
best thing that you've ever said on the show?
Creed had a bigger hit than Marvin Gaye with Arms Wide Open. You ever heard of it? Huh?
When I went and saw Frankie Valli, I knew every damn song.
Yeah, he sings that Lauryn Hill song. I heard it.
Exactly right.
So should I have studied it? So I should have studied, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in your performance. By the way, I tried to compare it to when I went and saw Smash Mouth. I did not take any more of the Smash Mouth catalog going into the show because, again, it was torture.
I think I would have enjoyed the Smash Mouth more.
Did you have an L in the middle of your forehead?
Yeah, dude, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I have a lot of painful memories related to the Smash Mouth.
Can I ask Griffin, did you like Three Doors Down? Because I actually like that.
Honestly, their music wasn't terrible. It was the guy had to go on a soliloquy between every single song about, as Glenn mentioned, Jesus Christ. but
really? That's Three Doors Down too?
Yeah. More so than Creed.
I told Griffin I saw Three Doors Down multiple times when I was a younger man, and I don't remember any of that being a part of the Three Doors Down experience.
I guess maybe.
How do you feel about that? Because all right, so I've got an interesting dilemma. You guys know the band Surfaces?
No.
They did the Sunday's Best song. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. Yeah. Okay.
Their lead singer is named Forrest Frank, and I almost cursed. Sorry. I love Forrest.
All right.
I absolutely love his music, and now he's went completely Christian, and I don't mean like a song that has like overtones or undertones, whatever the hell the word is. But it's like it's full on Jesus in every song, man.
So
Kanye did that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know if that's the comparison
nobody
you want to make.
That music.
I don't know if that's the comparison you want to make here.
Yeah.
Here's the issue I have. I certainly you have every right. This is these are the shut up and dribble people. You have every right to use your platform however you want to use it. And then everybody has the right to decide if they want to take in that platform or not, right? As I pointed out before, the irony of the shut up and dribble people now wanting to tell you about how athletes are doing the Donald Trump dance is rich, right? And in the same way that I've never been bothered by anyone using their platform to, fight racism, I'm never going to be bothered by people using their platform to tell me what presidential candidate they liked, which somehow we're equating those two things like they're both heroic, but still.
I'm just waiting for Casey Anthony to get put in charge of child services.
It could be any moment now. Yeah. Any moment now. Well, Aaron Rodgers is going to need a job here in a few weeks. But it's not going to bother me. You've earned that right to use your platform. Now, if your employer has rules or whatever, that's a different conversation. But if I decide that I'm a fan, a lot of people don't like U2 because of the preachiness, right? I've gone and saw U2 5 times, and that stuff has never impacted me at all. The people that are white and conservative don't like that Bruce Springsteen likes to tell them about his politics. I just don't. I'll never care about that type of stuff. I could see where if the music is dramatically different, that you'd be like, yeah, I think I'm out. I think I'm if that's what I was into was the music, and you're not, now you want to make it about your crusade. I don't know. I could see that turning me off. I could see that being something that would make me say, I think I'm good.
Yeah, no, again, I don't have a problem with anybody using their platform to push whatever they want, but there are some things that kind of get out of hand, and this is one where it's not I guess it's still a choice with religion, but a lot of times where you grow up, the weird thing for me is with the Forrest Frank stuff, the Christian music bangs too. I mean, it bumps strings.
Well, then there you go.
The lyrics are a little different.
Dude,
the beats are awesome.
Every now and then I hear somebody, an artist do a version of a gospel song. I'm like, damn, that is good. That is so.
I mean, that was almost all of Ray Charles's music. A lot of it was gospel that was kind of, that he twisted and made it what he wanted.
I could listen to John Legend sing gospel songs all day, man. That guy can do it. Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird. If I was in that's the problem is I'm not into Three Doors Down, but if I was into them, would it make me not go see? I don't know. If they were still playing the songs, I probably wouldn't.
So the weird thing for me
if they decided if suddenly somebody I liked said, hey, we hate the gays, then yeah, I'd be out.
Right to hit.
Yeah, that would be the moment where I would say, all right, well, I don't
know, man. It's funny because I download everything that came out from him. When we went to Jamaica, I think I had all his albums downloaded. It's just campy, fun music, right?
Right.
So then each time Apple tells me, hey, he's got a new album out, I just downloaded it. And then I downloaded the album and I'm going, all right, what's this? Oh, who? Jesus? Oh, he's singing here's another song. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
And the cross.
And I'm going, what happened? But it was still good.
I do like somebody. God, I wish I could remember who it was. It might have been somebody did like a whole soliloquy about like Christian music because like I think it can be good Christian music. It's just that like a lot of what I hear is the exact same thing. Like, right? I heard this. It's just the same group of words.
Well, I had that with. So I told you I was listening to Need to Breathe a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I went out to Red Rock to see. And I love their music, but they grew up in the church, so there's a lot of Christian influences, some of the songs they sing, so they get labeled as a Christian band, which is fine, but I love their music. And again, but it's not all the music is about, it's not preaching, like Washed by the Water, clearly that has a religious connotation to it, but they're not singing about, I don't know, whatever. I'm getting off track here. I don't know if you wanted to talk football or music.
Yeah, right. Somehow we're having a theology conversation this morning on GCI.
That's what you expect with me, right?
That's exactly
to get into theology a little bit.
Where I was going was, who is the act or the artist or band or whoever it is that your opinion about like when you were younger is most dramatically different today?
Oh, I was taking that the wrong way because I thought you were going to say which one we like that gets up there and just starts talking. And you're like, oh God, please shut up.
Who is that? Who is that?
It's Post Malone. It's Post Malone. He is the worst on mic, like performing. Awesome. Like go see him. But if he says "ladies and gentlemen" or drops the F-bomb one more time, like I'm ready to go up there and clothesline him, and I love him. So, but all right. So you're thinking of a.
By the way, I have like almost greater respect for people that don't even bother to try. Like, just don't even talk between the songs. There's nothing to say. And inevitably you're gonna get to a place where you're just gonna say like, hell yeah, that's all you have. Just play the next song.
Well, see, I don't know if it was a music thing for me, but like Mel Gibson was one of those guys where I saw every movie he was in.
Yeah.
And I think I told you this, Braveheart's my favorite movie, and it's like, oh, he's not a good guy, or he said something.
So I'll tell you, and we've talked about this before. For me, it's the Adam Sandler thing. It's the I won't watch old Adam Sandler movies because I'm deathly afraid that they actually suck. Like,
well, you know the ones that suck. The other ones still hold up, in my opinion. But okay,
I believe that you're right, but they're so like I have such a cringe towards like everything that the man has done, other than Uncut Gems, which is very good, for such a long time. That I don't want to find out that I was 12 and I had no idea what funny was. So I thought Happy Gilmore was hilarious. I will not go see Happy Gilmore 2 when it comes. Not a chance in hell that you will get me to go see Happy Gilmore 2. No way. I will do that.
Yeah, I mean, people want people want sequels until they see them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we waited for this?
Yeah.
Oh,
man. I went and saw
and
Anchorman
again, I get
2.
it.
I'm good.
It's almost like when I was saying this to my wife the other day. Like I went to go buy soft pretzels, and I was going to buy 2, and the lady's like, well, if you buy 3, you get 1 free. And I'm going, okay, well, that's 4 pretzels. I'm fine with that. So I buy it, and it's like 1 pretzel's not enough, or 2's not enough. 3 is too many, and 4 is definitely too many because there's still a bag of pretzels sitting on my counter.
Correct. There is no world in which you needed that 4th pretzel. I do that type of stuff where I'm like, oh, it's 2 for $10? Well, I'd be an idiot.
I guess I do need another enema.
Yeah, right. And she's just like, there's an empty bag or there's a full bag of chips in the closet. I'm like, well, it was 2 for $10. Shut up. Get off my ass. No, but I'm like that. Like, so I was never into Creed the way that I just wanted to like be into the thing that everybody else was into. Like, so I was like, all right, I'll pretend like I like Creed, and I went with the 2 different girls to see Creed in one summer. But like, nice. I was legit into Limp Bizkit, like legit into them.
That's definitely the one. When you listen to their lyrics, you're going, "Oh my God, did a 5th grader write that?"
Yeah, I
mean,
what? And that's the problem. Like, people are like, "Oh, you're making fun of him now, but you were super into him." I'm like, right, but now I recognize I was an idiot. Like, I was a child. It's the music is objectively terrible. It's awful. It's not just that like the times have changed. It's that it was dreadful music, and it's okay for me to say that now.
Can I tell you one that I thought wasn't really good? Like I love the music, but I didn't think he was. This is a rapper. I didn't think he was a great rapper at the time. Like I thought it was more like, hey, we're just into this whole scene. Mm-hmm. And now listening to him as an older man, and going back, I'm like, man, he's really good. It's DMX. Like everybody loves all his songs. Don't get me wrong.
I always loved DMX. Like, I was obsessed with DMX.
No, I've always loved him.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I'm like, I always kind of felt like it was more like if you compared him to his peers, you're like, oh, is he really? And then I think the what was it, 4321, the LL Cool J song with Method Man, Redman, and Cameron, that came on with him, and I'm going, well, damn, man, he's really effing good. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I effing love DMX. And actually,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I get excited every year around this time because my kids are going to start asking me to play it again. Like, my kids love it. They're like, play the other Rudolph. And I'm like, yeah. Dasher, Dancer. It's the best, man. God, I love that guy. All right.
I would get fired if I read my favorite DMX line.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't go over so well.
Yeah.
All right. They're playing a football game tonight. I'm in a weird place where, like, maybe I should be more nervous because of how the Ravens played last week. Maybe, I don't know. I still think one of these teams has Lamar Jackson, and I'm always going to side with the team that has Lamar Jackson.
I think we already know all the playoffs, or all the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. And for the Ravens, unless you feel like they're making a run to the division, it's just get in and see who you have to play. Somebody had sent me a message today saying, do you think the Ravens are closer to being below average team or closer to being a team that's going to win the Super Bowl? And I mean, my answer to that is always going to be the Super Bowl, because I feel like they have, if you started comparing units, and I'm not talking about our units, I'm talking about like defensive, offensive, special teams, I think the Ravens have the best unit, that being their offense in all of football. So I feel like that travels anywhere, and they could beat anybody. But I got to admit, man, it is kind of frustrating to come into these games. Like, you're facing the Chargers, and I know they're good. The Ravens are favored on the road. They should go in and just handle this team and come back home with the W and get ready for the Eagles, who are playing amazing football.
Yeah. By the way, it seems like every week, God, this is what happens when you lose the two games that should have been layups on your schedule, is that all of a sudden you're looking like every week is.
I mean, it keeps getting brought up, Glenn. Like, if you honestly, the Ravens could easily be, 11-0, 12-0 now. I'm trying to, 11-0. This is week 12, 11-0. They could easily be 11-0. All right, I don't think anybody expects that. But you talk about the comeback with the Raiders, the Browns game. I mean, we can go through all those losses and go, see, these were all close. They've never been blown out. But also, I could sit here and make a case a couple of games they won. I mean, Lamar was the reason they won the game late because he made some plays. So, I mean, I really don't know. To me, the NFL is kind of drunk, and this has been something I've been screaming about, the fact that they keep spreading it out. We're going to play in this country. We're going to do this. It's more money. And then now there's like 9 teams that have nothing to play for, and we're in week 12.
I'm trying to think of what else is still. I mean, the NFC West obviously is still up for grabs, right? Like, that's.
Some divisions are up for grabs, but that's usually the NFC West is the anomaly where everybody's within a game of each other and anybody can win it. Where we all just thought the 49ers were going to come in and run roughshod. They've had so many injuries; they look terrible. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know what this league, man. It's just the Bills might clinch after this week.
Right, that's true. But I would also tell you that, like, I don't know who's winning the Super Bowl, right? Like, and I do think that part. Okay. Like, I think we're all penciling the Lions into the Super Bowl, and I get that. But as you just pointed out, the Eagles suddenly look like really good, and the Lions still have the Jared Goff could throw 5 interceptions in a game factor to them.
For me, that's the exact opposite, though, of like. People, when you watch a movie and you're into it and it has the worst ending,
right? Or
if you watch a movie and you're like, oh God, and then all of a sudden something happens at the end, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that's how it. Like, if the playoffs end up being great, maybe it can fix the whole season for me. But I just felt like this year the NFL's been kind of a disappointment to me.
You're doing that bit. You're doing the thing the guy did a couple weeks ago that I lost my mind about. You're doing you're gonna make me.
Oh, I'm not telling you not to watch. I'm saying for me personally, like. I haven't enjoyed it as much this year as some of the other sports, but then again, I haven't won as much gambling on this sport
that might have
as I have the other ones. College football has been very kind to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. No, I don't know. I think if you were looking for a specific disappointment about this season, it's that the teams that we thought were new and going to be interesting have not been able to back that up. So Washington looked like they were the team that now we've got someone new to be interested in, and womp womp from there, right?
Yeah.
And they've kind of fallen off the cliff. So it is still kind of the same teams that have been in the mix. Arizona for a minute looked like they were moving into that category, and then they scored 6 points yesterday against Seattle. Like, there haven't been – earlier in the year, it looked like, Caleb Williams and the Bears were going to be super watchable, and that hasn't been sustainable. So I think if there was, like, a statement to make, it's that, like, the teams that are interesting and are in – that you do want to watch are the same exact teams. There's just been no one new. There's been no breakthrough. Like, maybe to a lesser degree, we'd say that's Bo Nix. That's the Broncos. But, like, they're not so exciting that you feel like you want to watch them. But we do need to acknowledge that they're good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I could make that argument that that's been the disappointment of the NFL is that it's basically it's the same teams. It's the Ravens, it's the Bills, it's the Chiefs, it's the Lions. They were the same teams that were relevant a year ago. They're the same teams that are relevant this year.
Yeah, and I guess, like, too, like, looking we were doing it this morning, looking at the AFC. Like, I think the playoffs are already set. It's just who's going to be playing who once they finish stacking them. Because when you look at the first team that's on the outside looking in, which I believe is Miami, I mean, they need to make up, like, 3 games on one of these teams, which seems very difficult after watching all these teams play. Like, nobody's standing out. Outside of Detroit, maybe Philly now. And obviously Kansas City's going to be thrown in that group. Buffalo's been playing well. Those teams, like, nothing shocks me from week to week now.
I don't know. I think Miami's still only a game and a half back of Denver, and like the way they're playing. I don't think that's done. I get like the Colts are done, and now it looks more like the Bengals are probably done. Like they're still probably
they still got 2 games with the Steelers, the Bengals. And then on top of it, you start looking at with Miami too, and then talking about Denver, like. Could Miami catch them? Sure, but I'm mainly looking at the Ravens and where they sit. I don't see them missing the playoffs, even if they lose the next 2 weeks. I don't think they're missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. All right, man. What can we talk up for you?
Oh, nothing. I mean, just back at it with Concrete Locks yesterday was nobody likes admitting this. Yesterday, I got my teeth kicked in, and it was after having a phenomenal Saturday. Like I stacked W's all last week up until Friday. I was 2-3 in my top plays, had a great Saturday. My one loss was the Rutgers game, and that had one of the goofiest finishes you'll ever see. And then I come into Sunday all excited and just get my ass handed to me. It was just bad. I mean, I was betting on teams that were good in one half and sucked in the other one.
Well, that's it could be worse.
Gambling.
It could be me. Yeah, I've been drinking.
Are you still bringing up the rear?
Oh, big time.
Oh, man.
I'm just a mark, man. Like I
almost feel bad for you.
I ate up like the Rams +3.
The Rams were my lock this week. Think about how I feel. So.
I'm a mark. All right, buddy. At JCon Sports is how you follow him. We'll talk again next Monday. Happy Thanksgiving, pal. Appreciate you.
Same to you, bud. Thanks, man.
I guess I'll be in for Jeremy on Thursday and Friday of this week. Reed and I are over on 105.7 The Fan on Thursday and Friday doing the morning show, so come hang out with us for your holiday weekend. All right, when we come back in, we'll get a tidbit. We'll get two-bit or wind things down for a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Brace yourselves for an unparalleled in-person betting experience at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook and Bars in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between their on-site tellers or the convenience of their self-bet kiosks to place your bets. And now stop by the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton every Wednesday for a free $10 bet. Just show up, sign up, and get your $10 bet for free. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
Hey, Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Millette, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Millette Show. We will be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. The Arthur Millette Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
Visit Hartford is bringing you a brand new event this holiday season that the whole family will enjoy. Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium, home of the Aberdeen Ironbirds, will transform into a holiday light experience. You'll be amazed by jaw-dropping light displays, thrilled by a visit to Santa's workshop, and have the holiday time of your life with sleigh rides, a special vendor village, a s'mores making station, and so much more. Harford Holidays, new at Ripken Stadium, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, Black Friday through December 22nd. For more information and to purchase tickets, head to visitharford.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, winding down for a Monday edition of the program. Today's show has also been brought to you by the print issue of Press Box. Still a couple of weeks to pick up this print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of those hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. Read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. You see Derek Queen, who had that massive game yesterday in the win over Villanova. Juju Reese on the cover, that Baltimore-built duo, reunited in College Park. I'm only going to show you a little bit of this. This is the Boys of Hamden calendar, which is now available. But you only get you don't get the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah, because you got to pay for that, dog. It's for charity. It's for the SPCA. So 100% of the proceeds of sales of this calendar go to the Maryland SPCA. You can go to boysofhamden.com in order to get yours. It will make a phenomenal gift this Christmas, this holiday season. So go get yours right now. And yes, myself, Stan the Fan, featured in the Boys of Hamden calendar, which is available right now at boysofhamden.com. And you'll display it proudly for all of your family to see. These handsome gents. All representing different businesses in the area. So it was an honor to be a part of that again, and look forward. I'm sure my wife will say, "Ew, you married me. You chose this." Like, what is going on here?
Ew.
She'll just make like a guttural reaction to it, like, "Oh," and I'll say, "Wait, we procreated together. You have confirmed to have had intercourse with me at least twice." And she'll still say, like, "Yeah, but, like, ew." It's just the way that it'll go when Mrs. Clark sees it. Such is life. Nothing I can do about it.
Maybe she's not talking about maybe she's not talking about you, but no, it is. It's pretty obvious. She makes it clear.
I mean, I would say not a flattering pose.
I guess I'll see it later.
On the inside. Not a I'm looking at the group shot, and I kind of turn to the side a little bit. You can see a bit more flab when you turn to the side than like the straight-on shot. Like, okay, I look like every other guy with a dad bod. But it's just a bit more prominent, the gut.
Gotcha.
A little bit more prominent when I turn to the side. It's what it is.
Well, I think you look great.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. 41, man. It's just, this is who I am. There's only so much I can do at this point. Yeah. It's all man, baby. That's what you got.
You're 40.
Yeah. Come after me.
So that's what she's doing. Yeah, she's going after you.
Yeah, she is. And I'm a man. I'm 40. All right. Very good. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by it's brought to you by the Print Issue Press Box. That's who it was brought to you by. That's why I wanted to do it right there. So now you can just do the tidbit part.
In their loss, Indiana, they were the number 5 ranked team according to AP at least. Well, I guess they were in the playoff too, ranking-wise, even though the seeding is all mixed up. Anyway, the point is they were held to 83 yards rushing, 68 yards passing. It is the first time that a top 5 team has been held to that few of yards in each category of a regular season game ever in college football. That a top 5 team did not register.
Doesn't seem ideal.
More than those lines. Yeah. So Indiana, are they frauds?
Yes, they were frauds, but like frauds in context. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been a really interesting argument about them with 1 loss versus SEC teams with 2 losses. I thought like all that conversation last week was too much. I was like, they're going to get in with 1 loss. And then after they lost, I like looked around. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not going to get in with 1 loss.
And then
everybody else lost. And so, like, ask me right. Like, this is the bit that Indiana fans are doing where they're like, you only think Alabama is better than Indiana because Alabama, is historically good. Like, no, I think Alabama's better than Indiana because Alabama beat Georgia. They beat someone. They did something. And you can say, well, it's not Indiana's fault that, like, all these teams are bad. Well, it's easy to say that. Like, that doesn't – I still have nothing to base it off that they're a good football team.
Is Texas bad? It's like, where are we?
Yeah, like it.
Who'd they beat? Have they beat anyone?
Who?
Texas.
Texas?
Yeah. They got A&M this weekend, so that'll be...
Because somebody had this conversation about what happens if Texas loses to A&M, right? Because there is the argument
that
Texas...
don't get into the SEC championship, so it's
like... Texas's best win to this point, because obviously Michigan didn't hold up. Oklahoma looks better because they beat Alabama, but they're still not been very good.
Their win over Florida looked better.
It does look better.
Who did Arkansas beat? Did they beat Ole Miss or Tennessee? They beat one of those two.
And Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Like
suddenly a good win.
The mid-range SEC teams are better than the mid-range Big Ten teams. But I get the point, which is like, it would be difficult for Texas. If they lose this game, it is not a shoo-in for Texas that they are definitively a playoff team. But like some of it is we do still have metrics by which we say we think these teams are better. But yeah, some of it you do have to fall back on like at the end of the day when two teams both look kind of similar, some of it is going to fall back on like, do I really believe that one of these teams or the other is better? And like to say for Indiana, their argument to be, well, our opinion is that we're better. That's just not a strong argument. Like it's not a factual based argument. It's a bummer that they didn't get more opportunities to beat someone this year. That's a bummer for them. My gut is if they had, if they played Oregon, if they played Penn State, it probably doesn't go their way. And the truth is, I don't really feel bad for anyone that gets left out of a 12-team playoff. Like, this is not robbery. This is not Florida State going unbeaten and getting left out. You had the chance. It was in your hands, and you lost. If you get left out, there's nothing you can say. I think Indiana will get in at this point. I do. But I also think there's going to be, some strong arming from SEC power people, and we'll see how that plays out.
Kansas, they became the first FBS team with a losing record to beat 3 straight ranked opponents in 3 consecutive weeks. So the Kansas Jayhawks
they still get bowl eligible if they beat Baylor this week.
Mixing things up in the Big 12.
As you watch them, you're like, how are they this bad? Like, what the hell was that?
Like, that running back they have is amazing.
Devin Neal, he's really good.
Going back to Thursday night, since I guess I forgot this on Friday, the Browns became the first team in NFL history to win a game in which they committed 3 turnovers. They had 8+ penalties. They only converted 1 third down in the whole game. They were held under 25 minutes of possession. They also blew a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter. And they still won the game. First time that's happened in NFL history. The Browns conspired against themselves, and they found a way to hang on. And then I guess, we'll do last night. Saquon became the second player to have 500 scrimmage yards over a 2-game span. Second player in NFL history to have.
Danian Tomlinson.
Not LT.
Marshall Faulk.
Not Marshall Faulk.
I
have to go back. Doing math now. 47 years.
Have to go 47 years. So we're Walter Payton?
Walter Payton, November of 1977, had a 2-game span where he had over 500, where he combined 500 scrimmage yards.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, so obviously finishing the night with 255 of which being rushing yards last night for Saquon. And that is the 9th highest
mark. I just
mark.
want to thank, if you could, and now that you're a man of the cloth, now that you're, if you could in your prayers, thank the Lord baby Jesus for the fact that I did not have to face Saquon in any fantasy football league this weekend.
I did, and because I had leads, I had substantial leads going into every I think one of them. I can't remember which one I faced him in though. Darn it.
Yeah, got really lucky there.
All right, let's see how we're doing. Anyway, he's got it got close. I was up by 65. I had Dallas Goedert, and he had Saquon and I think AJ Brown. And it got close. I win by 9.
There you go.
That was close.
Good.
That was close.
You're good.
9th
By the
most
way,
rushing yards.
in Ryan Ripken's league, someone, I'll leave them nameless right now, but I take a look, right, and I just say, hey, what's going on in that league, right? Let's take a look at some of the scores in that league because I'm gonna get a win in that league. Someone is up 152.8 to 112. And they're already 10-1 on the year. And that person still has Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry to play and already has 152 points. That person is Rita Hubbard.
Wow.
Ooh, with her first 3 picks.
Lamar, Henry, and Saquon.
Well,
that worked out.
Rest of us.
That did work out.
She's about to be 11-1.
Wow.
In that league. I had to force her to play fantasy football. She's about to be 11-1. Everyone else in that league is going to be 7-5, 6-6, or 5-7, except for I think Adam Pohl, our buddy.
What's he 1-11?
I think he's got 2 wins. I'm gonna beat him this week.
Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, he's gonna be 2-10.
Any chance you think Derrick Henry gets held to less than 10 fantasy points tonight?
I mean, you never know.
Jake Elliott had a big game, man. That did
he's gonna score a touchdown.
Piggyback that with AJ Brown. That didn't help me. Darn it.
Yeah, rough.
9th most rushing yards in a game all time is Saquon last night. Who are the 8?
So Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson has the record,
which was previously, of course, held by Jamal Lewis.
Correct. 296 for AP, 295 for Jamal Lewis in 2003.
And it was once held by, now I got to remember who Jamal broke the record from. It was, oh, God. It was somebody who Walter Payton, right?
At the time, no. I mean, Walter Payton's on the list, yes. 275 and 77. But no, this guy had 278 in 2000, and that was the previous record before Jamal Lewis.
2000. Huh.
Do I recognize John Proctor's guesses?
Sure, of course.
He said Emmitt Smith. Not Emmitt Smith, actually. No Edgar Jameses either.
Was it Sean Alexander?
It was not specifically. He is on the list, but not specifically Sean Alexander. In 2001, Sean Alexander had 266 in a game.
2000
against the Oakland Raiders.
Fred Taylor.
No Fred Taylor.
Eddie George.
No Eddie George.
Jerome Bettis.
No Jerome Bettis.
Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon is who you were thinking of. That is who Jamal
really?
Lewis broke at the time. 278 for Corey Dillon with the Bengals in 2000.
About Barry Sanders?
No Barry. No Priest Holmes, John.
Okay. How about Jim Brown?
No Jim Brown.
How about, might have to narrow this down some. How about LaDainian Tomlinson? How about Marshall Faulk? How about Frank Gore? How about Dorsett, Dickerson, Riggins, Thurman Thomas?
Missing 3. No,
Franco
none
Harris.
of the guys you named.
I'm just naming all like the Hall of Famers I can think of. Terrell Davis.
We had so the most recent before last night. The most recent on this list, a 286-yard rusher in 2009. Not Curtis Martin, John.
Oh yeah, Curtis Martin's another Hall of Famer that I had named. 286-yard rusher in 2009. 2009. Frank Gore.
Not Frank Gore.
Not Adrian Peterson. 09. Is 09 Maurice Jones-Drew?
It was not MJD.
CJ2K?
No.
Ray Rice?
No Ray Rice.
I don't remember a game like that.
No LeGarrette Blunt either, John. This is a fun name. He's on the top 10 here, but just looking at the rest of the list. I guess he is. I guess he must be random as crap. 2009 was a Brown. In a game at Kansas City, he had 286 yards.
2009 Browns.
Go with 3 rushing touchdowns.
William Green?
Mm-mm.
The hell was on the 2009 Browns?
December of
Peyton Hillis?
No, not Peyton Hillis. Let's see. He was a Brown for the first 4 years. It looks like he was traded to Philly in 2010. And then played in 4 games with Detroit in 2011, and that was the end of his career.
This is not ringing any bell for me. Browns?
I mean, I have no hints. I don't have many hints for him either.
Browns, Philly, and Detroit.
I mean, he spent the majority of his career with the Browns. He was a 5th-round pick in 2006 at a Wazoo.
Washington State running back.
And he has he's third all time with most rushing yards in a single game.
I got nothing.
Not Peyton Hillis, John. Yeah, John doesn't have a guess either. I guess I'll give this one to you.
Okay.
It was Jerome Harrison.
I still have nothing. I have no recollection of Jerome Harrison as a human being. I'm sure he's a wonderful person, but I've got nothing here.
Rushed for about 10% of his over like 15% of his career rushing yards in this game.
Sure he did. All right. How many more do we need to get?
We need 2 more. So the top 5: AP, Jamal Lewis, Jerome Harrison, Corey Dillon, Walter Payton 5th, number 6 on the list, and number 8 on this list.
6 and number 8.
273 rushing yards.
All right, you're giving me nothing. I'm still just winging it.
1976. So at the time he set the record that was broken the next season by Walter Payton.
I was gonna say 1976. O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. Rushed for 273 yards for the Buffalo Bills.
And then the other one was
2010.
You realize 2010 is more recent than
I
2009.
do. I was trying to. I think I was just looking at the top 5. I guess when I said that.
The most recent on the list. It's 2009.
Most recent on the list.
Except that it isn't.
This was also the 2009 season though, for what it's worth.
Tiki Barber.
It's not Tiki Barber.
Deuce McAllister. No, he was gone by then, right?
Nope, not
Reggie Bush.
Not Reggie Bush.
Jamal Charles.
259 yards for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos in January of 2010.
Jerome Harrison.
And then Saquon Barkley, 9th now on the list. Number 10 on the list.
He could be here all week.
You want to just round out the top 10 here?
I don't know. Is there somewhere?
Did it in 2021. It was actually the 2020 season, so it was
Derrick Henry.
No, not Derrick Henry.
Nick Chubb.
Not Nick Chubb.
Alvin Kamara.
No.
Christian McCaffrey.
No.
Ezekiel Elliott. Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. There you go. Top 10. Top 10. Actually, DeMarco Murray had a 253 rushing yard game, so he's tied with John Taylor.
How about that? All right, we good?
Yeah, we can be
Let's get tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. Look, man, you're watching the game. It's 8:15 on ESPN and ABC. There's a Manning cast on ESPN2 for Ravens-Chargers. That's what you're watching. Right now, you could get rid of this stupid show and instead watch UMBC as they take on Howard on ESPN+. Tonight, Navy hosts Washington College at 7 on ESPN+. The Maui Invitational gets underway, so good basketball throughout the day on ESPN2 and ESPNU. Memphis, UConn, 2:30 on ESPN2. Colorado, Michigan State at 5. Colorado is in the Maui Invitational? Like, is that how much the Deion Sanders brand is?
You got money now.
Basketball team. Auburn, Iowa State tonight at 9. Dayton, North Carolina at 11:30 on ESPNU. All the other college basketball, you can go find it at glennclarkradio.com. Caps, Panthers, 7 o'clock on Monumental. I need, if you are a Capitals fan, I'm going to need you. I'm working on finalizing details for our charity raffle this year to benefit the Helping Up mission, and I'll go ahead and tell you it's going to involve some autographed pucks from very prominent Washington Capitals players. So if you're someone who's like, oh, people in Baltimore like you, you're going to need to prove that to me this week. This is going to be a big week for you when I make those details official. NBA TV, Mavericks, Hawks at 7:30. Thunders, Kings at 10 o'clock. The USA Network for Newcastle United, West Ham United at 3. WWE Raw tonight at 8. Non-sports?
There are a few. So I wanted to see the Manning cast guest were Owen and Luke Wilson.
Maybe they're Chargers fans? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
And then Mike Rabel is the fourth quarter guest.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. I don't know.
The big one.
I don't know.
The big one is the Netflix cold case. Who killed JonBenet Ramsey?
Yes, that's the next for book club. In fact, yes.
So that is on Netflix. On Paramount Plus, we got Dear Santa. Jack Black plays Satan, and it's because some dumb kid writes a letter that but he doesn't know how to spell.
It's supposed to go to Santa, but it goes to Satan. You know what?
I'm
actually in.
And Jack Black just appears, and he tries to corrupt the kid now. It's the same producers as Dumb and Dumber, apparently.
Okay. I don't hate this.
Yeah, it's Jack Black. It can't be that bad. There's a new show, Get Millie Black, on HBO. It looks solid. It takes place in Jamaica. Looks solid if anyone is into it. It's like a detective series. New episode of What We Do in the Shadows. And I think that's everything. Kaylee Cuoco will be on Fallon along with Ricky Fowler, Xander, help me with his name, Schauffele?
Yeah.
Matt Fitzpatrick, and Cam Young.
Sure.
Because the TGL thing is coming up, the golf league.
Great.
In January. So they're
Can't wait for that.
I think that's everything. Yeah.
I'll be sure to not watch either. Thanks to everybody at thanks to our guest today. Thanks to Tavares Gooden. Thanks to Chris Knoche and Jeremy. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Can You Take Me Higher?
tab at glennclarkradio.com. It's at least something. Tomorrow on the program, stuff and things. We'll do the regular Tuesday stuff, but we'll probably have some Ravens-Chargers fallout to get to as well. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Visit Hartford, Live Casino and Hotel, Cruise Maryland, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, Green Turtle Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costas Inn, MSAA, Maryland Sports, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday night. Go UMBC, go Navy Hoops, obviously go Ravens. Duke sucks. Did you know the coaches are brothers?